Hey everyone, GameHounds podcast. We are here. Sorry, we're late. How late are we? About right. About
23
average.
minutes.
24 minutes. Yeah, that's par for the course.
That's on time.
No, it is not on time. It is standardly late.
Look, I am just looking to lower the bar. Let's lower some expectations, and let's keep them low.
Now that we have just started, I just realized that I am in a sweatshirt because it was pretty chilly this morning. And it has just started to heat the fuck up in this room. So now that we've started, I gotta go off and go like change my shirt because otherwise I'm
lower that.
sweating.
Let's lower that bar. We're gonna go live. The moment we're live, wait, stop. Let me go change a shirt. Hold on. Let's smother that bar.
So you go ahead, entertain the masses. I gotta go change my shirt.
Okay. In the meantime, how is everybody doing? Corey Wallace, I assume you're here. You were here before we were here. You were like standing in line before the store opened. So that's cool. Welcome. I hope you've had a good couple weeks because we weren't here. Yeah, we didn't have a podcast last week. I think Edie was at a volleyball game and I was doing Mother's Day stuff. And so the timing just kind of, it worked out for us, but didn't work out for you. So sorry, but we've got some stuff to catch up on. Oh, finished Oblivion. That's impressive. Yeah. That was one of the few games that like I never actually finished it. So I'm impressed. I got to a gate and it was too hard because I was high level and all the monsters coming out of the gate were too high level. So I just never, I like had a save that stuck me in a building surrounded by high level monsters. I just could not get out and never finished Oblivion. Never closed those gates. The world ended.
You never finished the original Oblivion?
You finished it at level 15? How is that possible?
Yeah. you can do it.
No, I never finished. I got the Oblivion gods overran me.
Did you leave your child in the Oblivion gates?
Probably. No, I brought the Oblivion gates to my world.
Oh, okay.
So,
all right.
Yeah, I killed everyone.
But then you didn't kick your child into there. It's the fruit of your loins, fruit of your virtual loins.
I would never do that.
You have done that. You did that with me.
No, I believe you were holding his hand.
Look. We were his parents. Do we really want? Let's not quibble about who killed who, okay?
Look, no. We did not kill anybody. There was no death. Alive. There was nothing. He was just. We don't even know if he got left behind. He could have run away. He could have just run away in Albion and been living happily by himself.
Corey Wells should have called upon your child to come save you.
Oh my God! Wait. Was there some sort of time shenanigans going on where the child we left in hell ended up in the past and came through the Oblivion gates to stop me from beating the game?
Here's my theory. The child we left in hell.
Allegedly.
No, not allegedly. We totally left that kid in hell.
Allegedly.
Is Shagorath.
Who was Shagorath?
That's the crazy one. The nut job.
Oh, is he the one
with the Wabblejack?
Oh, I don't remember.
He's the deity that's absolutely freaking insane, and you hate dealing with him because he's evil and insane.
I kind of remember this.
Is it it's Sheogorath? Sheogorath? Yeah.
I've seen that name. Sounds familiar. I've seen that name. Yeah, Corey Wallace says maybe the child turned into the Daedra.
No. Let's see. He's in every episode. He's in all games. Let me bring him up. Sheogorath. Let me pull him up so that you can see this. I am pulling it up now. All right, this guy.
Oh, I couldn't. Goes right through me.
Oh, hold on a second.
Goes right through me.
This is going into the lunchbox.
Remember this?
This is going into the wrong headset. Okay, this we go.
Goes right through me. Besides, I have so many things to do. So many undesirables to contend with.
That's not
naysayers, buffoons,
That's Pelagius
detractors. Why, my headsman hasn't slept in 3 days.
You are far too hard on yourself.
That guy.
My dear, sweet, homicidally insane Pelagius. What would the people do without you? Dance, sing,
You know what?
smile.
I feel like he has the right accent.
You are the
I feel
best
like all the
septum
characters in
that's
Fate
ever
X3
ruled.
Yeah.
Well, except
had
for
that
one.
kind of accent.
But he turned into a dragon god, and that's hardly supportable. You know, I was there for that whole sordid affair. Marvelous time. Butterflies, blood, a fox, a severed head, and the cheese to die for.
That's Shagorath. Yep, that's our kid. That's the kid that we left in Skyrim, or in Hell in Fable.
Fable, yeah.
Yeah, Shagorath. Anyway,
let's see. AC Ray says, I got compression stockings. Seem to be helping my health, but I feel the urge to properly learn the time of day.
It's a jump to the left and a step to the right.
This is all you.
You put your hands on your hips, move it in real tight. You do the pelvic thrust. It really drives them insane. Come on, you've been to Rocky Horror. Oh, Nick, you've never been to Rocky Horror Picture Show?
No.
Oh, incidentally, I just happened to get a notification. I'm like on a mailing list for like concerts and stuff that's going on in the city. October 23rd, which is right before Halloween, they're having well, I mean, lots of places do Saturday night Rocky Horror Picture Show still, but they're doing it at Current Theater, which is going to bring out the best of the best of
Okay. There might be something else that I'm busy with that weekend.
All right, then I will have to find the best Rocky Horror Picture Show between there and there, because
that
it's
weekend
a cultural thing everybody needs to do once.
You remember that weekend is the wedding party, right? That's when you're coming to the house.
Oh shoot, that's right. That's the wedding. Okay. Yeah, I will have to find somewhere where they do a really good Rocky Horror Picture Show, and you and I will have to I mean, I'm gonna have to take, and I guess I'm gonna have to take Rachel.
I think she'd be into it.
Because it's a cultural thing. It's kind of like not seeing The Godfather. You've got to see it. Everyone's got to see it, because you can't really know it until you know it, until you've been there and you see it, and you're part of it.
Has seen it. Everybody.
No, there's a lot of people who haven't seen it.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to the day that I get to drag the girl child. Because I think every person needs to see it once. And then it'll either make you go, that's awesome, I want to do this all the time until I am 18 or 19 and then I grow out of it. Or it'll make you go, all right, that was interesting, but not my cup of tea. But at least you know what it is.
Yeah. I mean, I go to the theater like every week. I like the theatrical experience. And I know this is like a much more rambunctious
it's the movie is one thing.
Yeah.
It's also the audience participation within the movie that's hilarious. I mean, it is over the top. It makes the movie that much better, because it's this audience participation that everybody knows. It's all got the same lines, and there's like regional, variations. Different people will have different variations of certain things, but in general, everybody has these certain touchstones within the movie that everybody knows. It's a bit like, think of an entire movie that is the 7th inning stretch where everybody sings "Take Me Out to the Ball Game," but it's the whole damn movie.
Here's an important question.
Mm-hmm.
Should I watch the movie before going to like that whole thing so that I have some awareness of it, or all new at the theater?
If you watch, honestly, the movie's not that great. It's kind of a meh movie. That's the thing. It was kind of a meh movie. It was all right, but it wasn't fantastic. But then you see the movie in the context of, this entire cultural experience where everybody in the entire theater is reciting lines back to the movie that's not in the movie. They're adding new lines to the movie. And then you realize that it's just so much more fucking fun. And then you want to learn all the lines that everybody else is saying because everybody's shouting at the screen in sync
okay. That's why
at the same time.
With the live experience being like a twist on the movie, like, should I not watch the movie at first to get like a baseline and then better appreciate the twist? Or if I just watch that twist,
I don't know, because
what order should I watch?
I've never seen it without being in that.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, that's an interesting thought. I've never actually sat through Rocky Horror Picture Show. But see, the thing is that it's in my head. If I watch Rocky Horror Picture Show,
I mean, now
I will have these things in my head because it's what you say at this time.
Yeah. It's like the age-old question of what order to watch the Star Wars movies in.
Yeah, it is a little bit like that. So anybody who has, by the way, if you're watching this after the fact, I do want your opinion. If you're watching this in Twitch or if you're watching this on YouTube, drop in the comments. Do you think for someone who's never seen Rocky Horror Picture Show ever, to see the movie first and then go to the theater to see the experience, or just go to the theater and see the experience and just lay into it?
Let me know.
Drop it in the comments. I want to know. Yeah. All right. Bitter says, what did Yves Guillemot do this week? Do you have anything on Yves Guillemot?
I don't think Ubisoft.
I don't have anything on Yves Guillemot this week. He's been relatively quiet ever since it looks like he's somehow doing this insane deal, like making Tencent pay him to take over his own company again.
No, I will put a news story in related to Ubisoft just to keep the Yves Guillemot train running.
Corwell says the guy that does the voiceover work for Sheogorath was Wes Johnson, is also the Fallout 3 character Fox. Oh, I did not know that. Interesting. Rocky Horror Picture Show Parents Guide. I am looking that up right the fuck now. It's actually a link, an IMDb link, a Rocky Horror Picture Show Parents Guide.
Oh, it's an actual thing?
It's an actual thing. IMDb Rocky, Horror Picture Show Parents Guide. Because I can't copy and paste from the comments. Oh, it's actually okay. Wait, what is this? In the dinner scene, it shows a book full of porn, and on the first page you see a woman with her breasts visible, but it's only for a split second, too brief to notice. During one song, a character wears a revealing clothing, although no nudity.
Oh, this is like the actual Parents Guide.
Parents Guide.
Oh, I thought it was like a parody or something.
No, it's an actual Parents Guide. It's a guide that you can watch this so that you know what your kids are seeing when they go to Rocky Horror Picture Show.
That's less funny and more just like, no,
despite
that's
having,
kind of boring.
Yeah, I'm looking it up. Despite having 2 sexual scenes and nudity, the content is mostly innuendo. True. More of what? A woman's breasts briefly pop out of her bustier. Yes. Several people are seen wearing revealing clothing throughout the film. Yes. Yeah. So, that's essentially the guide. Okay. Let's see. AC Wraith provided another link. Rocky Horror, what to expect when you go for the first time, no spoilers, long. It's a Reddit post.
He also says some live performances get really focused on the raunchy elements. Might not be decent for the child.
Oh, we're not taking to the child until she's no longer a child. This is much, much later. She's not quite mature enough yet to appreciate that. She's straddling a very interesting line between Disney princess and, I Know What You Did Last Summer. I know.
What?
He's right in the middle of the two.
I don't even know where that line is.
She's right in the middle of the two. Like, you know, like the kids that want to do Disney movies, and then, you know, like the
kids that
Minecraft
accidentally
movie.
murder someone.
Right. She's a little old for Roblox, but plays a lot of Roblox. But she's a little old for Roblox.
I mean, isn't the thing about Roblox is that it's got user-generated content, so you could, in theory, play it, you know, forever because you just find different games within the game?
Mm-hmm.
Also, does that mean that she's going to go see the genuine I Know What You Did Last Summer Legacy sequel that's coming out next year or later this year?
Well, he did take her to see, just when it came out, the new Dracula movie.
Nosferatu?
Which was not graphic, let's just say. There were, you know, it was, as it is, the story truly is pseudo-sexual.
Oh, yeah, definitely. But, like, thinking of that movie, like the Rocky Horror Picture Show, the Nosferatu and the Rocky Horror Picture Show have a lot in common in that a lot of their sexual is innuendo and,
right,
you know,
sexually
implied.
innuendo, but she would not like it. She would just think, it's weird. These people are weird. This is scary. I don't like this. So I'm not going to do it until she, like, grows up in her head just a little bit more. It's not that the movie is not appropriate for her. It's that she would instantly despise it because she would just be like, these people are too loud and they're making me scared. Disney princess. But yeah, the fortunately, Chris and I went to see Anora first together. Because when she said, I want to see Anora, both of us were like, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
That's interesting. I would not have thought that, like, what about that movie appealed to her?
Oh, because it was the Oscar. It was all the talk about when the Oscars.
That was a good movie. I saw that.
It won the Oscar. It's a great movie. I don't know that it was Oscar good, but
yeah, I don't know if it was Oscar good.
I think it was. They were looking for an alternative to what was it, Amelia Perez that got knocked out for.
I guess so. I mean, look, Anora is better than The Brutalist.
I've yet to see The Brutalist, but yes, I would imagine so. Anora was not a bad movie. It's a very, very good movie.
Okay, what I think is really cool about Anora is that the entire it's not just the movie, it's the structure of the movie. In that the movie's structured like a hangover to really give you the experience that they're going through. Well, like the first hour is just this fling fun party. It's like a comic caper. It's funny. It's fun.
Right. You can feel that it is a car that's going just a little too fast. And it's like, it's fun now, but you know there's a wall coming. Yeah. You feel that there is a curve and it's going to go flying off the edge. And you know it's going to do that.
When the wall comes the first time, it's like funny. Like when the guys first show up and are like, wait, what's going on? You're married? Who is this? It's funny. But then it keeps going.
Right.
It keeps going. Right. And it's just like this high that's just lower, lower, lower. Yeah. Lower, and then it like does a really good thing with the ending, and when it kind of pulls the camera out a bit and you see, oh, we're kind of in this intimate, this one woman's roller coaster experience, but then you kind of see, no, like the people she was with, these rich people, these mega rich people, like they just don't give a shit, like everything about it.
Yeah, she is seen as a complete object, and
it's all a game, and none of it matters, and it's like, oh, this, no, it was a very solid
her parting shot, and I know she's walking out the door. The parting shot is good. It's like this moment where she has had absolutely no clarity on what's happening, and then she has the absolute clarity of the entire situation and lays it out to them in a way that forces them to see her for that moment until they can just completely dismiss her like she never happened. And then, of course, the very, very last scene is like that reconciliation of her being nobody to these people. Yeah. Her being like not even an insect to these people. Meanwhile, here's somebody who doesn't see her as an insect.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, no.
Who's the nice guy?
I didn't see all the Oscar-nominated movies, but I think that was a fair a fair win.
It was a fair win. Absolutely. I wasn't angry about it. I was not angry about it. Anyway, we've gotten off the topic. Can we let's do the music. Let's do the music and then we can go completely off the topic of everything, okay?
Okay.
This podcast discusses video games, pop culture, and technology. And these podcasters have big, fat potty mouths. If you're younger than 18 or are easily offended, please stop this podcast now. Oh, and your mom said to take out the trash and do your homework.
Hello and welcome to GameHounds. GameHounds episode 781. We are recording this on Sunday, May 18th, 2025. I'm Edie Sellers, with me is Nikki Nicola. So now we can go completely off the rails if you want, but I prefer we don't because honestly, I'm not feeling great today. I woke up last night. I sneezed. We went to Foster Freeze. I did not know there was a Foster Freeze around here in San Jose. Went to Foster Freeze, and which is like a thing of my childhood. I absolutely love Foster Freeze. But we went there, and I had a teaser sneeze there, which didn't really okay, it's a teacher sneeze, it happens. And then later that night, I sneezed once. I'm like, okay, that's just the teaser sneeze sneaking up on me. And then in the middle of the night, I got up to go to the bathroom, and I sneezed, and I'm like, oh. And I noticed there's a tickle in my throat. It's like, fuck. Oh. So I'm feeling better. I'm at that point where I could go either way. I could either just be absolutely fine tomorrow morning, or I could be sick as a dog tomorrow morning. So I don't know which. So I'm trying to spend a lot of time I was in bed until 12:45. I went out, walked the dogs, had coffee, and then got back into bed. Because that's what I do when I'm sick
That's fair.
The first sign of being sick, I get into bed and I stay into bed until I'm no longer sick.
Well, in solidarity with your sickness, which do you think will make you more sick?
Horchata or cucumber soda?
Uh-huh.
I don't know. I'm gonna leave it up the chat room. What do you think?
Horchata or cucumber?
Thank you for the link to Foster's Freeze. Oh, Foster's Freeze, so good, so cheap. You can get a triple hamburger for under $10.
I have never gotten a triple hamburger because I don't want to. I don't want to eat a burger that I have to unhinge my jaw like a snake to eat.
Yeah, no, that's all Chris eats. If he can get triple, he'll get it. But then again, all he gets is meat and cheese and bun. He doesn't put anything on it.
That's at that point, just put it in a bowl.
Yeah, he says umpteen different locations in California. No clue of its existence anywhere else. I don't think it exists anywhere else, but in California, it's been around since forever. Corey Wallace says cucumber, so we're doing cucumber. We have one vote, unless somebody jumps in the next 10 seconds before he opens it. Okay,
it was first come, first serve.
Opening, and it's open. All right, so cucumber it is. Survey says. I would imagine it actually tastes pretty good. It's light and refreshing.
Not bad.
Yeah.
It's almost like a slightly less sweet Sprite.
Oh, okay. That's kind of nice. Yeah, Foster Freeze are known for their chocolate dipped soft serve ice cream cones that are just a thing of my childhood.
That's what I was thinking. Foster Freeze isn't the ice cream, and then you're talking about hamburgers.
Yeah,
maybe it's.
They were like a burger stand, on the side of the road, drive-in burger stand. They didn't have a car hop like Sonic is, but it's that same concept of you drive up and it's a burger stand, and you walk up to the counter and you order through the window, and then you go over to the other window and they hand you the food because they have burgers and corn dogs and chicken strips and bunch of other stuff. BLTs, and then like banana splits, and of course the ubiquitous chocolate dipped soft serve ice cream cone. Evil generative AI in the intro instead. Oh my God. Do you know what the original was?
Generative
it was
AI?
Not generative AI. It was generative AI. It
just
was generative. It just sounded like a robot instead of a human. That's all it was.
Oh, you know what? I guess, yeah, that old robot voice was technically like the precursor to generative AI.
It absolutely was
robot
the precursor.
Voice.
It was a text to voice. That's all it ever was. I mean, I've got it here. I can play it for you.
This podcast discusses video games, modern culture, and technology. And these podcasters are big fat potty mouths.
See, it's exactly the same. It's just better now. And that's what we were doing 15 years ago. That's 15 years ago.
Although
and
I'd say
now. Oh, hold on a second. Not that.
The methods are different, right? It's the same destination, but different roads. And one of those roads is like paved in death and energy usage and lost jobs to get to like a slightly higher point.
I think that this is just a progression of what that was. They've been working on that for decades. Hell, come on.
Yeah, I'm sure there is just text to speech that's more advanced.
That's what
not
all
actually
this was.
AI.
That's all
it's
this
just
was.
A better text to
speech. That's all it is. The AI part of it has nothing to do with it. It's just text to speech. I mean, it's the same.
This podcast discusses video games, pop culture, and technology, and these podcasters have big, fat potty mouths.
This podcast discusses video games, modern culture, and technology, and these podcasters are big fat potty mouths.
That's all it is. It's just one of them reads a little better than the other because it's better trained and more advanced. But if you think about it, those two things, that's 15 years of technological advancement. It's not that much. When you talk about text to speech, it's not that much.
Anyways.
I make my point. The defense rests. Anyway,
what have you played?
What have we played? Well, I'll do you my easy one. I have a toilet.
All right.
I have a toilet. I have a bathroom. There's still things wrong with it that I'm trying to get the contractor to come back to fix, but at least I have a toilet and a shower.
Okay.
I have spent the night at my house.
Okay.
I ordered a refrigerator to arrive on Wednesday. I ordered it weeks, I think I talked about it because I was afraid that the tariffs were going to come in the price.
Oh, yeah.
So it arrived Wednesday and the guy drove up and said, that refrigerator won't fit. I'm like, yes, it will. I measured. And then they measured it again. It's like, yeah, no, it's not going to fit. I'm like, it said it was going to fit on the website. So they didn't even get it off the truck. They just drove it back.
That sucks.
So then I bought another one that does fit. And that came Friday. So I now have a refrigerator and a toilet. And I have stayed the night at the house and done some cleaning, not a lot, but I do have now in the oven, because that is the only place that I know that isn't biohazard at this point, clean dishes that I've done in the dishwasher and stuck them in the oven.
Okay. I felt like the bar was increasing and then the only clean place is the oven. It's like, oh, let's
well, I
slow
mean,
that
it's not
rating
the
a
only
little
clean
bit.
place at the time. I mean, I have washed, every single surface in that house needs to be washed and disinfected, like with bleach.
Oh,
so I have managed to deep clean 3, and not just the surface, all the legs, all the inside, all the shelves, all the back facing part of the whole thing needs to be completely disinfected.
Like even the inside of cupboards?
Oh, yes. That's where they were, inside, kicking all of the pots and pans out into the floor.
Oh, that's right. You're talking about the rats. I was just thinking about like
the dust.
The dust.
Oh, the dust! I didn't even thought about the dust. The dust is not even
I forgot about the
registering
rats
at this point. No,
I don't know how I forgot about the rats, but I forgot about the rats.
It's the rat infestation that I'm concerned about. So every single dish needs to be washed and put into the oven at this point. Actually, it's not true. I actually have a couple of services that I know that are safe. But
the rats gone?
Yeah.
Okay.
It would be if they are still there, they're hiding very, very well because, I've obviously washed the floor numerous times because I have to wash it and then clean other things and then wash it again and clean more. And then I wash it again because I've had more things coming onto it. But I didn't want to not wash the floor. I needed to wash the floor first.
Why don't you just wash the floor last?
Because I didn't want to be traipsing my feet from the kitchen, which was the center, the ground zero of everything, into the house, into the bedroom, into the bathroom, into all of these places that I would have to go back and do again.
Okay.
So wash the floor, then wash everything on the way down from top to bottom on the way down. Each time you finish a new surface, washing the floor again in that area and disinfecting it.
So in all that cleaning, did you find the Steam Deck?
I haven't.
Did the rats leave it behind?
I'm focusing on the kitchen at the moment because that's key priority. Also, it's ground zero. There is evidence that they were in the living room. I discovered that. So they were apparently watching TV. So they were behind the couch.
I mean, they had the house to themselves for several months.
They really, really did. So I've been checking my Netflix and my credit card to make sure that no subscriptions were purchased by the rats for the Biddle Rat
What
party.
What are the rats? Yeah, what do rats like on Netflix?
I have no idea, and I don't want to
know. They probably watch The Mole. They like the reality show The Mole. That seems up their alley.
They watched what was the one about the Disney thing about the rat?
Ratatouille.
Ratatouille. They watched Ratatouille over and over again.
The Secret of Nim.
That's right. And what did they play? The Plague. What was the movie? The one about the plague.
Plague Tale.
Plague Tale.
They Plague Tale, but they just killed the main characters.
Right, exactly. They're rooting for the rats.
They played that the Rat Souls-like game. What was it?
Rat Souls-like?
Yeah, Tales of Iron.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And so I'm now officially, as of in theory, I'm leaving tonight and going back home.
Okay.
So in theory, this time next week, I should be doing this for my house.
Oh, Corey Wallace. Good one. American
Tail. Yep, there we go. And what was it? Fievel? The something of
Fievel Goes West.
Fievel Goes West. There's another one that they were watching. So anyway, my focus is on the kitchen because I have to have the kitchen to eat, and I cannot eat anything from that kitchen at this point. So I'm cleaning all surfaces and getting that. So it's no longer unsafe for me to be in that room and to eat food. Then from there, I am moving out to all other places that are showing evidence that they had it in there.
Do you have like a timeline for when you'll get all the cleaning done?
If I did that, I would, my brain would shut down at this point.
Okay. It's just, it'll end when it ends.
It'll end when it ends. My first priority is to get my upstairs so that I can live in it. And then I can retake up the actual process of renovating it to get it on the market. At this point, I don't know that I would even have this done before I have to sign a new lease for the new place.
I thought you moved
I'm just
into
not
the new
even
place.
thinking about that, huh?
I thought you moved into the new place.
The new place isn't moved into because I haven't been able to get my stuff out of the house because all of the stuff in the house is biohazard.
I thought
I'm not dragging that into my house.
No, but I thought you got the new place and like you got a couch that came in a bunch of pieces and you had to move the couch.
I got a couch. I don't have a television. I got a couch and I have a bed.
But you have the place.
I have the place. I have a couch and I have a bed.
But how do you have the place if you didn't sign a lease?
No, I did sign the lease. I will have to get a new lease, the next year's lease.
Oh.
That's entirely at this point possible. And if I think about it, I will burst into tears.
Okay, yeah. So let's talk about. Well, speaking of
anything else.
Speaking of
thank you.
Impending existential dread. I played more Clair Obscura.
Okay.
That game is great. And again, I'll just say it's really great at presenting just this really emotionally heavy existential dread, and at the same time just being wacky and goofy as hell. Have you seen, you know, the game Only Up? Have you seen like clips of this on Twitch or stuff?
I haven't seen much.
Only Up it was like a big on Twitch for a while, and it's basically a character jumping on a whole bunch of reused assets from other games to get higher and higher and higher.
Oh, is that the one where he's in a pot and has to use a...
No, that's Getting Up, but it's in that same lineage.
Okay, all right.
There's a mini game in Clair Obscura, this super serious, super thoughtful, impeccably written game that's basically Only Up, with a whole bunch of like reused assets just floating in the air. And it's like, what the fuck am I playing? And then, oh my God, I need a, okay.
What?
Expedition 33 level.
Just tell me what it is and I'll look it up.
Okay. I've got this. Oh, but this guy already finished the level. No, I want a video of someone actually climbing it.
What's it called? The Only Up level?
Yeah, Expedition 33 Only Up minigame. Oh, here we go. Look for the hardest platforming challenge.
How about this?
Yeah. So, like, this is a serious game that deals with, like, complex death, morality.
There was another game that had something like this that I've played, where it was a mini game within the game itself.
Oh my God, this person is awful. But like, you can dress them up in wacky costumes. You can give them wacky hairstyles. There are these wacky mini games. It's a funny game. Like, some of the creatures that you meet in this world are funny and weird. And like, there's a lot of jokes in this game. And that's really impressive because it speaks to a writing team that's so assured and so, confident in their grasp of the tone that it can vary between goofy fun and deadly serious and everything in between. And it manages those transitions really well. It goes from funny and fun to serious, back to funny and fun to serious at appropriate times, at an appropriate pace, and the characters react appropriately. And it creates this tone that, like I said, it's just really, really self-assured. I feel like other games would just stick to one tone. It would either be goofy or be all serious because they wouldn't trust themselves to balance it. But this game does it. And it's so good. But I think the other really impressive thing about this game I want to talk about is the combat mechanics. Each of the characters has their own gimmick. And that gimmick is really complicated. And so when you first get a new character, and especially in the beginning, when you're kind of, you go from one character to two characters to three characters pretty quickly, it can feel a little overwhelming because each character has their own, arcs, their own rhythm to combat. Where this guy you're looking at right now, Verso, every time he hits an enemy, his rank goes up and he'll do more damage. But every time he gets hit, his rank goes down. So you want to kind of outfit him in different ways to up his rank. You can give him some weapons that say your rank starts at B, but you're at 50% health. Or your rank can't go lower than C, which is nice. And we lost Edie. But I'll keep talking.
I'm here. I'm just having an issue with the camera.
Okay, so yeah, you have to manage his rank. Another character that I've mentioned before has a system of like foretell, where you do a move that applies foretell and then a move that consumes foretell for extra damage. You have a character with magic, where if you do fire magic, that gives you a lightning charge. And if you do earth magic, that will consume the lightning charge for more damage. But then that gives you an earth charge, which then you can use a lightning spell that consumes the earth charge for more damage. And so it's like, oh, you have to kind of figure out what is the pattern, what is the rhythm of combat for each character. And what's impressive about the game is that it's a learning curve. It's an actual learning curve. You know, you start off not knowing anything, and slowly you kind of get more and more familiar with these characters, with their rhythm of combat. And at a certain point in that curve, you start figuring out how they work together. It's like, okay, I've got this character's rhythm down. I know what move I should always open with, and I know what move I should always end with. If the enemy applies some stats effect to me, I will do this. But you have a plan for each character. And then you start realizing, well, wait, if I set this guy on fire, this other character does more damage. Or if I mark a character, mark an enemy, this character does more damage. And so as you go through the game, you learn the rhythm of the characters' combat individually,
but also how they work together.
How they work together.
Right.
And the really cool part is that mirrors the story itself, where these characters, you know, they land as a team on this continent, but then things go wrong and they kind of all separate. And as they explore, they meet each other. And there's a relationship system in the game where as you go to camp, you can hang out with other characters and, you know, just learn some of their backstory. And as you do, your relationship with them improves. And so your understanding of the combat system and how they work together mirrors the narrative and the characters, you know, coming together and growing closer and, you know, creating more bonds between them. And the really impressive thing is that those two lines of development aren't linked. A lot of other games will have some system where if you get relationship up to 3, you unlock some move with that character, right? It's a way of having the mechanics reflect the growing bond in the story, but the mechanic is locked behind the story. You have to progress the story and bond to a certain point to get the mechanic. That's how a developer can ensure that those things, that those lines remain parallel to each other by locking one behind the other. Right. This game doesn't do that. They just run in parallel, and it just speaks, like I said, it speaks to a confidence of design and a confidence of writing that we're going to tell the story of these characters' growing bond. And we believe that you as a player will just naturally get more familiar with the mechanics and how they work together at that same pace. And it just, like I said, speaks to a confidence of design that's not something you see in a lot of other games. And to see it here is like, damn, you guys are good. You know what you're doing. Like this is like the first game from a new studio, but these are clearly seasoned developers who know how to make a game.
Right. Yeah, I the more I'm watching it, the more I'm intrigued. And this is not a game that I would normally be interested in. But the more that you're telling me about it, the more that it seems like the developers have very much created a game that is not an obstruction to your fun. Like, you have to earn your fun. You don't have to earn your fun in this game. The fun happens on its own. It's not like penalizing you for not playing with a certain character, not doing things a certain way. It's actually there to make you want to do better and want to do more, and not doing it in a way that it's like, you suck, I'm going to make you hate it.
Yeah. There's a new character named Verso, who I just mentioned previously, who has the whole rank system. He's kind of a late addition to the party. And so when he appeared, I was like, I don't really know how to use him. Like, I don't know this. But as I used him, I kind of realized, well, okay, the rank system means you want him to hit a lot. And one of the weapons that you get from him early on is if you do a base attack, you get to go again.
Wow.
And so that's like, oh, well, okay, I'm going to do a base attack and get an extra hit in, get my rank up a little bit extra. and then he gets to go again. And the free attack is free.
Right.
But then you can add a skill to him that means your base attack does 2 attacks instead of 1. So now it's like, oh, I'm going to do the base attack to get 1. Then I'm going to do another attack that's like 5 hits, get my rank up a whole bunch. Then I'm going to unleash on them.
Right.
And then it's like, well, if he gets hit, he loses that rank. Oh, but there's another character who can protect these characters. So, okay, I want her to go first so that she can do her protection move. Then I want Versa to go, hit a bunch of guys, get rank up high.
It's essentially encouraging you to think of your team as a team, as an actual, questing team, where it's like, all right, I'm thinking not strategically against a particular enemy. I am thinking strategically of how I want to stack my individual characters that I'm playing in such a way that I can optimize damage.
Yeah. And what's nice about the game is that the developers have created a combat system that you can absolutely shatter. You can, like, I've read enough things about people making endgame builds that just do 999 damage.
Oh, really?
Hit. Like, they've developed a system that you can break. They want you to break the system because that means everything's working together. That means you figured out the system.
You've optimized
the matrix.
And that makes sense, that if you're going to optimize your character, optimize your gameplay, optimize your team, and the way that you stack your team, you should be able to break the combat. You should be able to get 99999 all the time.
Yeah.
It just makes you feel good. That's like, hey,
it does.
This is something to shoot for, to be freaking invincible.
Every time I see that 9999 max damage pop up.
Oh yeah, it's a dopamine just straight to the brain.
What's also nice, and this is just a little aesthetic touch, as you go through the level with your characters, like with Dragon Age Origins, they get dirty. And it's funny looking at this character on screen now.
Dirty as in like physically dirty, like
physically dirty. Like they get messy. And then when you get to a rest point and you rest, they're all clean again.
Oh, okay. They clean up.
But it's funny watching them. Like, I think if you can, is he gonna? Oh, he rested. That means they're all clean now.
Yeah. Well, there was one quick shot here of someone who, let's see.
Yeah. Skip ahead past the fight.
Let's see. You keep talking, and I'll hopefully be able to stop it right at that point.
I don't think it'll show it in the cutscene.
Yeah. Sorry. Like I said, sneezes. I am definitely sick.
Okay. Yeah, this game is really cool. I'm looking forward to it. The story is incredibly compelling. I just want to know what happens next. It's so good. Oh yeah, you can see the just covered in blood
and guts and gore. Yeah, definitely. And then of course they rest and then they clean up, which makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway,
so Expedition 33 is still awesome.
Still
in
awesome.
fact,
and you're making a case for it.
GTA 6 was delayed.
Origins.
I think
it's oranges. It's oranges, Nick. You need to correct yourself. It's Dragon Age oranges.
I'm sorry. That's a foolish mistake on my part.
Yeah.
I think someone at Rockstar played this game and realized, oh shit. This is probably going to like sweep the Game Awards. And it's going to look real bad if GTA 6 loses to like this lower budget double A game.
Indie, yeah,
like shit. Let's just delay a year to get away.
I highly doubt that they did that, but I love the idea that they might have been, that even could be a consideration that GTA moved to be off the calendar from this game.
Yeah. That's my headcanon.
Future Life says it looks like the last level platforming of Alan Wake.
Oh, I don't even remember. Alan Wake did the first Alan Wake have a platforming level? It's been so long since I played it.
I played it, but then I stopped playing it because it was not my cup of tea.
But yeah, that's Expedition 33. And I have also been playing on the complete opposite end of the spectrum. Creepy Redneck Dinosaur Mansion 3.
Okay. I'm looking forward to seeing this.
There is no Creepy Redneck Dinosaur Mansion 1 or 2. It's just 3. This is like
that is a very ookie bookie spelooky thing to do.
And it gets even more ookie bookie spelooky because it's part visual novel, part match 3 puzzle game.
Okay.
And the story, it's basically a parody of like a mashup of Resident Evil and Dino Crisis rolled into one, made into a parody of itself, because you play has JJ Harding or JJ Hard something, and you reference events from Creepy Redneck Dinosaur Mansion 1 and 2 of like, oh, you know, the hero who defeated the dinosaurs. And when you enter this mansion, you immediately encounter a velociraptor that's presented like a zombie. It's like, oh, I hear a hissing sound. It's a velociraptor. But it's structured like a visual novel where, you know, you enter the gate and, whoa, there's a gate blocking your path. What do you want to do? No, look around. Oh, it's locked. Let me try to climb over it. And climbing over it becomes a match.
That's a very Zork thing to do.
Yeah. And each version of the match 3 puzzle game, whether you're climbing over a gate, whether you're trying to open a door, whether you're fighting a velociraptor, whether you're fighting a clown, they all have different gimmicks to them, where sometimes if you match some symbols, you can attack. Other times you get into, oh, I forgot to mention, he knows he's in a video game. This is a self-referential video game in that the character is told you're in a video game. Not only that, you're in kind of a bad video game. These developers suck.
This is very ookie bookie spooky.
The developers suck. Oh yeah, you died, but that was just in the demo. Don't worry, it's fine. And so in the part where I'm at, you just have to go around looking for bugs, like literal bugs. Like, and so you're like, oh, this hallway, there's nothing in this hallway. I step forward and all of a sudden I'm someplace else. That doesn't seem right. That seems like a bug. What is this?
No, Chris is just saying, ask me if I want it.
Oh, the Saboteur. Oh.
Yeah. Were you around for that when I named it Game of the Year?
No, I was not around for that, but I remember like you talking with him over it.
Yeah, Viva la Vengeance. Anyway, so you were saying that the you're giving it to me?
Yeah, it doesn't fit me. It's not tall.
Really? Yes, I want that.
Will you wear it?
Absolutely, I'll wear it. Oh my God, thank you. Yeah, that's so sweet. This is a bit of history, man. This game, EA did not put enough. Oh my God, am I inheriting? No.
Oh, Dodge.
No.
It was a poison pill.
Vero Beach, Florida can suck it. Thank you. Yeah, this is the EA did not. By the way, Wraith, can you do me a favor? Can you check on GOG if it's on GOG or anywhere where it might be archived? That game, this is a classic case of what we complained about with Xbox and also Baldur's Gate when we had all of that, those internal documents from Xbox or Microsoft about rating games before they came out to determine if they were going to be what they're going to put their assets, their resources towards promoting. Saboteur was one of those games that EA decided early on they were not going to put a lot of resources behind to promote. That game was so good. And of course, this was at the time when you had to like print copies. You didn't download. So if they didn't print the discs, there was no going back. So the number of discs that went out were the number of discs that went out. Oh, nice. You got to save that one. You got to save. Why did they give you a T-shirt that small? You, of all people. They don't make your size. Anyway, so yeah, I will explain the whole T-shirt thing happening right now at a later time. But that game is a very classic case of, and it's better now because, for example, with Baldur's Gate 3, they realized almost immediately that they had really not done the right, like they had under expectations. They've too low in expectations for that game, and they realized their mistake almost immediately. That did not affect the ability of people to actually buy the game because you didn't have physical discs. It would just, digital downloads. And this is one of the advantages of digital downloads, that I've always liked the idea of digital downloads, but this is a very classic case of how it materially changed gaming, because producers, they weren't locked into, okay, we're only printing this many discs and that's it. If you are not one of the, chosen games of the year, it wasn't a death knell for your game. Now you can recover. Yes, sir.
Did you do the rant about how spoiled these games are?
That's coming up. That is coming up in news. We are going to have a deep dive into how spoiled you little babies are. You spoiled little children when it comes to the price of video games. But we'll talk.
I mean, that's like, the rare games.
Whiny.
Right? There's so many games that were rare.
Snowflakes about the price of games.
There's so many games that are like rare and valuable, and that skyrocket the price. Final Fantasy Tactics, like on PS1, was a rare and valuable game that was worth like $100.
Mm-hmm.
And then it came out on digital distribution. You could download it.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, the price of that rare disc dropped because now the game was much more easily accessible.
Right. That's unfortunately what Saboteur faced, was that was not an era of digital download. Had that game been digital download, I think that game would have been far more successful and far better known than what it is.
Well, I looked it up, and
AC Race says, Corey Wallace says, I 100%ed Saboteur. Good for you. That was a great game. AC Ray says, take the Dodgers shirt. If you get that TV, you'll drool over. No. Oh, sorry, my Siri just went off. AC Ray says it's on my Steam and my wish list.
Yes, so I did check. It is on Steam now.
It is on Steam?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good. By the way, if it goes on sale, guys, I highly recommend getting Saboteur. Fantastic game. Anyway, we're talking about not Saboteur, but Creepy Redneck Dinosaur Mansion 3, of which there is no 1 and 2. Here's a disc.
Oh,
here's
wow.
a disc. That's awesome.
So he always has a disc.
He always has a disc, but it is to play this game, break glass.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. Yeah, this Saboteur was a fantastic game. When it goes on sale on Steam, absolutely get it. And when you do, please contact me on Discord.
Yeah,
let me know what you think, because this game was so far ahead of its time as far as creating a living city. Essentially, Paris was a living city. Why are we still having group? Paris was a living city in this game. Anyway.
Yeah, he said it's only $9.99 too.
Yeah, it's $9.99. I'm impressed that they're still selling it for $10.
It's an old game. I think
it's worth $10 even now.
From that era.
But yeah, get in our Discord, and when you buy that game and you play that game, get in this Discord, drop a note. And I don't know, Corey, can you attest to the fact that it was a fantastic game? Corey Walls does say you can use the Dodgers shirt for TP. If I had that Dodgers shirt, I absolutely would. Okay, so Creepy Redneck Dinosaur Mansion 3.
Yeah, it is a fun and funny, lighthearted game. It's only available on PC, so I've been using. It's my inaugural Rogue Ally X game. And it's the perfect pick up and play game.
It looks like a kind of, I mean, the more I'm watching it, it is kind of like a graphic novel Zork meets Candy Crush.
Yeah. It's absolutely all those, and it's really fun. And what is nice too is that the match 3 stuff isn't timed. That you can sit and look at the screen and try to like strategize out what you want to do.
Nice.
And just to not be rushed for that is important, because I think that gives the game a very laid back, chill, fun feel. It has, instead of being, I gotta do this, go rush.
Then it's an actual strategy game as opposed to, like a timed puzzle game.
Yeah. No,
it's
fun and it's funny. There is, I will say.
Have you finished it?
No, God, no.
Oh, so it's a big game.
I don't think it's big, but I only played for like an hour.
Okay.
But there's a boss fight where, like, as an example of the humor, there's a boss fight where you encounter these cultists and you realize, these cultists are misplaced. They're too strong for you. You can't defeat them. You have to run away. Let's leave through the wall. Just jump through the wall, because this whole game is bugged. And so you have to put together the right pieces to jump through the wall in order to glitch your way out of this boss fight.
Nice. All right. So was this on Steam?
It's only on Steam, yes. Okay. Well, only on PC. I don't know if it's on Epic.
How much?
I think it was like $10.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Good deal.
$20.
$20. Oh. He says, Racy Wraith says it's on itch.
Okay. But yeah, itch is like pay what you want.
Corey Wallace says, yes, it was that good. I named it Game of the Year for a reason. And it was a completely obscure game for that year.
It wasn't obscure, but I do think it was like no one else was looking for Game of the Year.
Nobody else considered it to be possibly Game of the Year. It was not that big a deal. It wasn't. I mean, it was a AAA game, but it wasn't a triple. It wasn't marketed as a AAA game. So
yeah, game releases 2009.
This T-shirt.
Seriously? Okay. The reason. Oh my god. What? This game was unfortunate.
Yeah.
You want to know what else?
Pull it up.
You want to know what else came out that year?
Yeah.
Assassin's Creed 2. Modern Warfare 2.
Modern Warfare 2. Oh, God. There was no way it was going to ever be Game of the Year.
Uncharted 2.
Uncharted 2 came out the same year?
Left 4 Dead 2.
Oh, my God.
Batman Arkham Asylum. Resident Evil 5.
Came out the same.
Resident Evil 5
all came out the same year.
Dragon Age Oranges. I'm sorry.
Dragon Age Origins came out that same year.
2009 is a fucking legendary year.
Oh my god, it was the golden. I did not realize all those games came out.
You know what? There's even other hidden gems in this list. The Chronicles of Riddick, Assault on Dark Athena.
Chronicles of Riddick was a great game.
Prototype. Bayonetta Brutal Legend too.
Bayonetta came out that same year? No wonder nobody knew about it. Oh
I know. It had an unfortunate
Yeah. If it had come out in 2010, it would have been a different game. Or
came out in a stack.
Actually, I don't know. I mean, that was very much a golden age of gaming. We had many of the IPs that we are still getting games from. That were in their prime at that time. It was a fantastic.
Came out that year, but that no one gave a shit about Demon Souls.
No one gave a crap about Demon Souls
except GameSpot. To their credit.
Until 2 came out. But yeah, it makes you appreciate how far the industry has fallen when you look at the games that came out in 1 year, 2009. 20 years ago.
Well, I think that's also because they just made them faster.
They did make them faster.
It took 2 to 3 years to make a game instead of 7 or 6.
Yeah, you could pop out a game every year. You could pop out a AAA game every 18 months.
Yeah.
You can't do that now.
They did it with Assassin's Creed for a long time.
They did do it with Assassin's Creed. Oh, we have input from the developer. He says he made a game a year. For 6 years, for about 6 years in a row. at EA. Every year he made a new game.
Damn. It's a good output.
Yeah, I mean, but that was an easier time to make games. We demanded less. The budgets were much smaller simply because of the lack of the amount of people that they needed to put on it for as long as they need to put on it. And I think I also think, I mean, we're getting into kind of like, let's table this for the news, because this is part of the deep dive that I want to go into, and I will give you a taste of the banner for this. That depending on how much longer this podcast goes on, we may have to save for next year.
Well, okay, I that's all I played.
Is asking $100+ a game for too much, a historical perspective. I was going to dive into that because of a conversation that I had in the car yesterday with Chris about like when we were kids, back in our day kind of conversation. And we did some research and actually did some numbers and went, holy crap, kids have it easy these days. So we'll talk about that in a bit.
We can get into that now, because I've played all the stuff that I've.
All right, so then let's we'll go to it. Come on.
You want to talk about?
No. I'm good. I got nothing else.
Okay.
You know, I got a toilet. I got a refrigerator.
Playing...
I've got plates. I've got plates, but not forks, knives, and spoons. I've got clean plates in the oven, safely stowed in the oven.
You've been playing the real life version of Sims.
Yeah. And the other nice thing now is with that refrigerator, I now have an entirely new area of guaranteed not biohazard area that I can put my dishes into. I can put my milk and my half and half and some food and maybe some my vegetables and food, and then everything else is just going to be dishes. All right. So let's hit the news.
I can't hear you.
And Nick DiNicola. What?
I couldn't hear you.
Oh, this is the GameHounds news, the news, views, and commentary of the week in gaming with Gamer Edie and Nick DiNicola. And our first item is... Oh, all right. I guess I'm doing the first item. Well, let's get through the news first.
Oh, okay.
Been caught stealing once when I was 5. Yep. Bungie got caught stealing art again, and it was absolutely shameless. So if you're not aware, Bungie has had a history of being discovered that they, borrowed some assets for a game and some artwork from people that they didn't ever bother to ask for and did not pay for. In this case, in Marathon, it was discovered that there were unauthorized decals and designs that were used, and the artist happened to see his art being used in the early, artwork for the game. And I will pull this up for you now. So N2 is the name of, or I guess it would be N squared, is the name of the artist. And he said Marathon Alpha released recently, and its environments are covered with assets lifted from my poster designs I made in 2017. So this is the assets from Marathon. This is the posters that he made. So it was just like absolute direct lift. And he actually went on for other, posts to say, quote, Bungie is of course not obligated to hire me when making a game that draws overwhelmingly from the same design language I have refined over the last decade. But clearly my work was good enough to pillage for ideas and plaster all over their game without pay or attribution. In 10 years, I have never made a consistent income from this work, and I'm tired of designers from huge companies mood boarding and parasiting my designs while I struggle to make a living. Well said, sir. So Bungie did respond via its Marathon dev team, their Marathon dev team account on Twitter. They did take responsibility for this, sort of. I was having a conversation with Chris about this morning and it goes back to a guest. We almost had a guest co-host today of Nick's dear old friend from way, way, way back in the day, Ryan.
Oh, yes.
And if you're not aware, Ryan did something in Borderlands 2, and I did not speak to him since Borderlands 2 until recently. We have buried the hatchet.
Completely overblown.
I know you think it's completely overblown, but bottom line is the way that the hatchet was buried is Ryan said, "I'm sorry." That's all he needed to say. Not "I'm sorry, but," not "I'm sorry. I was thinking," it was just "I'm sorry, shouldn't have done that." That's all you need to do. Because if you say "I'm sorry, but," you're not actually saying "I'm sorry." You're trying to convince the person that's upset why they shouldn't be upset. That's not an apology. Bungie, of course, to this guy, that they stole his work, and he made it very clear why it's a problem. I've never made a living off of this, and you guys are using my shit. Meanwhile, I'm struggling to pay bills. Bungie responds, taking responsibility, air quoting, for the incident. We immediately investigated a concern regarding unauthorized use of artist decals in Marathon and confirmed that a former Bungie artist included those in a texture sheet that was ultimately used in game. Saying, essentially, former artist did exactly what Guy was accusing them of doing, using it for mood boarding and parasiting off of his ideas to create essentially concepts. Now, whether they switch that out or not only determines whether they're caught at it. So the studio did say that this issue was unknown by the existing art team and that it reached out, quote, to do right by the artist. I am hoping, but I have not seen anything by the artist saying that Bungie paid me. But they said, quote, as a matter of policy, we do not use the work of artists without their permission. To prevent similar issues in the future, we are conducting a thorough review of our in-game assets, specifically those done by this former Bungie artist, and implementing stricter checks to document all artist contributions. Now, that would go a long way. That sounds great. Except when they say to prevent similar issues in the future, guess what? This is already the future. Bungie was accused of lifting artwork now. This is the 4th time that they have been caught doing
I've been trying to find the list of it, but like this has happened throughout.
Last year, an artist was accused Bungie of borrowing its design for the Destiny 2 Nerf gun, which apparently was amicably resolved, but still they lifted a design from another artist. In 2023, so we're talking about, this is 2025. In 2024, they lifted art. In 2023, an artist pointed out the similarities between their artwork and a piece that appeared in Destiny 2, in a Destiny 2 cutscene. Bungie resolved this by compensating and crediting the artist. In 2021, a fan art was used in a trailer, which Bungie once again resolved after reaching out to the artist in question. So this has happened 4 times that we know of, because it only gets known when the artist catches them.
Yeah.
I wonder how many times they have lifted fan art and other people's art that are not aware and have not been compensated. I don't know if this Bungie artist was the same one on all of them, but I get the feeling the guy has not worked there since 2021 and was stealing art all the way along. Otherwise, when he got caught in 2021, he would have been fired. So this is not just one artist that made, or one, Bungie employee that made a mistake. This is a thing. This is their modus operandi. This is the way that they work. Is they consistently steal other art from other locations and use it for mood boarding, use it for storyboarding, use it for kind of like, getting a feel for the game, essentially building the feel of a game on somebody else's art, and never actually appropriately consulting, much less compensating the artists for their work.
Well, it's
only doing so when they get caught.
It's even worse because there's a lot of this in movie soundtracks. I don't know the name of the video, but there's a video that like has a bunch of, here's the Pirates of the Caribbean theme. Here's the Gladiator theme. They're incredibly similar.
Mm-hmm.
And it's clear that like someone was given like, hey, I really like this song.
Right.
Use this. And the composer's like, okay, let me slightly tweak it and remix it.
Mm-hmm.
But at the
well,
very
even
least,
John Williams did that. John Williams, this famous Star Wars theme is actually pretty similar to other pieces previous to it.
But like at least they tweaked it.
Right.
There's a lot in this art that is just taken, copy and pasted. That's not even changed.
This is not an inspiration. This is where they have taken stuff and copy and pasted it. Exactly. And in this case, it was a direct, I mean, you don't get any more obvious that this is out of the game. And
the ALEF.
Yeah. This is out of his actual work. It's pretty obvious that that's exactly the thing. You could see it in other places. It's just, the ALEF.
Yeah.
All
the stuff on the left is
assets.
Marathon. The stuff on the right is Anti-Real.
Yeah. So this is Marathon, and you can see things in here, all these little bits and assets, and things in here, all these little bits and assets. That this is from Marathon. This is for his stuff. This is from Marathon. This is his stuff.
And for Bungie, this is a really unfortunate timing because this has come after their closed alpha test of Marathon, which like didn't set the world on fire. It received kind of mixed to negative feedback.
Yeah, I mean,
but still, the aesthetic of the game was like the thing that was selling it. That is what people appreciated, and to now have this stain on it is the one good thing the game had going for it.
Yeah, the aesthetic is actually it's not just gotten from a third party, but stolen.
Yeah.
Like completely lifted from some starving artist.
Paul Tassi has talked to some developers at Bungie, and he had a little like expose that morale is in free fall across developments. The vibes have never been worse. And everyone is concerned about what happens if Marathon bombs.
Oh, Marathon's going to bomb.
And one of the reasons they're worried is because there's no indication of if it's going to be delayed because it's now launching in a quote actively hostile environment.
Actively hostile environment. Yes, that would be it.
Also,
that's one way to put it.
One thing that was told to him is that Marathon was originally pitched by higher up good old boys Bungie leadership as far back as 5 years ago. Devs were telling them what would and wouldn't work and were often ignored. Many have said that it needed to have some sort of PvE component, but the heads up didn't listen. I've seen other people speculate that when Sony bought Bungie, there was an indication that the higher-ups had to stay for a number of years and release Marathon for the money they get from the buyout to vest. And so there's like the CEO is now, let's just get this shit out the door so that I don't get my money.
If it's bad because they need to launch it, or else their golden parachute doesn't vest.
And so, like, the company is
the same guys who are forcing it out and didn't listen to the developers. When the developers said you need PvE to make this good, and they're like, fuck it, we don't need PvE. Oh, and now it's a shitty game and it's gonna bomb. Well, let's just ship it so I can get my cash and get out.
Yeah.
Oh God, it just. AC Ray said it must be nice to have a scapegoat you don't even have to name. Yeah.
That's true.
It's dumb. It did bother me that they didn't name the guy. And you could argue that they couldn't for HR reasons, but that's something that should be known. You know, I mean, I hate to name and blame, but if you're going to name and blame somebody as an unknown, a ex-employee, then don't blame him and name him, or don't blame him and don't name him. But don't blame and no name. That's not okay. AC Ray says they'll have Giacomo Tura in their soundtrack. Next, they'll have Giacomo Tura. Yeah. Anyway, so
I do have a good segue from that.
Yeah.
So Bungie is owned by Sony. Sony has been pushing the live service games for a while, right?
Yeah.
Had a lot of trouble with that. they got Concord, Bungie's flailing. The next big thing is Fair Games, the Payday-like.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Jade Raymond, who founded Haven Studios, which is making Fair Games, has now left. So the leader of the developer of Fair Games is just like pieced out. There's no real indication of why, but it is weird that she would leave like kind of midway through development of this kind of not highly anticipated, but like a lot of pressure riding on this game.
Yeah. This is kind of a big game for the studio. I mean, what else has Haven made?
Nothing. It was founded to do this. This is the first game.
Right. It was founded to make this game and to have the founder bounce before the game comes out. It doesn't feel good. Not at all. Nope. Sony's, and was this supposed to be also a live action game?
This is a live service game. Yep.
A live service game, I mean?
Their live service games have just floundered.
When are they going to give up?
Well,
when are they going to give up on live service?
That leads to another story I had about PlayStation actually doing a lot better than last year. CFO doesn't rule out rising price due to tariffs, and I'm getting this from Stephen Totillo GameFile.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things he said is that they credit their revenue to network services and third-party games, but there's a decline in income from first-party games, which makes sense because they didn't put out a whole lot.
Yeah, they didn't.
But previously, the new CEO had criticized Bungie basically for like going over budget, and he has now like been a lot happier with basically the cost of where everything is.
Because they reduced the price, or because he got more realistic to find out exactly how much games cost these days?
Well, they probably like tamped down on the Bungie's budget because Bungie seems to have a lot of issue budgeting. But overall, Totillo writes that the prior PlayStation leaders were focused on selling consoles. The new ones, under recently elevated PlayStation division CEO Hideki Nishino, are focused on keeping players active on their console. So their monthly active user count reached 124 million, up from 118 a year ago. The CEO said that various issues at first-party studios, the financial discipline is in place. So it seems like even with all the live service stuff flailing, Sony has fully backed away from a lot of that and is now doing better.
Mm-hmm.
Who would have thought?
Yeah, amazing when they back away from this failing, floundering cash grab.
Yeah, the bandwagon.
The company does better. What?
The bandwagon was full. There's no more room on it.
Yeah. So, so PlayStation financials did better this year. You know who didn't do better this year?
Who?
Where is it?
Ubisoft.
Warner Brothers.
Oh yes.
Warner Brothers had its earnings call with its investors and came out with this information that they proved that you pretty much get what you pay for. As we know, Warner Brothers has been horrifically mismanaging its video game division for quite some time. I don't know why they think there's no money in video games, but they think there's no money in video games. And what's worse is that a bunch of the IPs that they have and some of the systems that they've locked away behind patents so nobody else can use them. Like they've got pure gold in the vault, but they don't want to make anything, and they don't want to let anybody else to touch it. But they did come out with where is it? I have to find the information here. It's on my list here somewhere. They did come out with their Q1 2025 financial report, and it showed that there was a 48% decrease in revenues from its gaming department compared to last year. Let me say that again. 48% drop in revenues year over year.
It was only that much.
That's hard to do. That's almost like you have to try to lose 48% of your revenues in gaming. So they did attribute it to not so much how bad they're doing now, but how well they were doing before. See, it's not our problem this year. It's really the problem from being too successful last year. They attribute it to Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, which underperformed, and last year's carryover from Hogwarts Legacy and Mortal Kombat 1. So they said that last year they had more money because of carryover of two very successful games, and this year they had a game that they thought they were going to make that was going to be better than it was, and it wasn't. The thing is that they should have known it wasn't.
Yeah. And the carryover.
Everybody says that it was not great. I'm sorry?
The carryover has decreased.
Right. Well, there's no more carryover from Hogwarts to 2025 because 2023 to 2024 is when it came out.
I mean, I'm sure there's some carryover, but it's not what they want.
It's negligible compared to.
They should just make a 2. Just get to work on a 2.
Just to get to work on a 2 and stop making. Well, they should have abandoned Justice League. I mean, the concept did not hit rave reviews when they put that out. I believe it was at E3 that they announced it. Somewhere. No,
it was a Sony presentation that focused on they have PlayStation State of Play that focused exclusively
That's right, it was a State of Play.
Suicide Squad.
And as soon as it came out on State of Play, everybody's like, I don't know. Yeah. When you can't get excitement for the initial first look at a game, you got problems. You need to go back to the drawing board. Unfortunately, they did not go back to the drawing board. They just said, fuck those guys. Those guys don't know what they're talking about. Stupid consumers. We know better. We'll make a great game. No, they did not. So yeah. What else have I got? Oh, let's talk about Fortnite.
Okay.
My favorite game. Oh God. But so I don't know if you know that Epic put into Fortnite an AI chatbot, a Darth Vader AI chatbot.
Yes.
And it as expected, it went about as well as you'd think. Within a very short period of time, there were Twitch streams where Darth Vader was managed to swear and talk about boobs. And what else did they do? Yeah, they. I mean, there's some pretty.
I saw a video of Darth Vader summarizing the story to Kingdom Hearts. That was really pretty good.
Let me see if I can pull my eye to get it into the right way. But it is. I'm not gonna lie. It is pretty damn funny. All right. I think we can hear.
I think a lot of the boob talk and a lot of the swearing has been patched out now or updated.
Yes, they did. They did patch a lot of this out. They did. But here's a moment that actually really made me laugh. I need to add this. All right. And we're going to pull this up here. All right. Here we go.
What single sifts in his area?
Are you suggesting I maintain a list of potential romantic partners? Loser fruit.
Yes. Are any of them hot? You won't understand that.
You inquire about the thermal properties.
No,
of these?
no. I mean, are any of your Ruster good looking?
You're awfully good looking.
You speak of breasts. I trust you are referring to the armored chest plates of potential Sith warriors and assessing their defensive capabilities. Ensure your focus remains on combat readiness, not frivolous aesthetics.
Can't talk about breasts like that with Darth Vader.
What did I do to do that?
Single sifts in his area.
I have to lie. I mean, I can't lie. There's a difference between what had happened in previous AIs where people were trying to get like AI chatbots to turn into racist homophobes. That wasn't what's happening here.
No.
They're just
this was fun breaking.
Oh yeah, this is fun breaking where all of a sudden Darth Vader just comes out with something like, what?
I assume you're talking about the armor chest plates.
Are you talking about breasts? Oh, by the way,
boobs is a universal language.
It really, yeah, boobs are the universal language. Also, incidentally, and just in case you're worried, considering that we were talking about artists not getting paid for their work, James Earl Jones, obviously the voice of Darth Vader. His family estate was contacted, and they did get the rights for James Earl Jones's voice to be put into
I think
the game.
I believe he did that himself before he died.
Did he? No, it says that his late actor's estate was given permission.
Okay.
The estate official announcement was, quote, James Earl felt that the voice of Darth Vader was inseparable from the story of Star Wars, and he always wanted fans of all ages to continue to experience it. We hope that this collaboration with Fortnite will allow both longtime fans of Darth Vader and newer generations to share in the enjoyment of this iconic character. Let me give you the TLDR translation of that. Epic paid us a lot of money for this. Absolute truckload of money. And we're letting James Earl talk about boobs and swearing. The swearing one was pretty funny. It makes you appreciate that if you were ever going to be sworn at by James Earl Jones, it would be absolutely withering. Let's see if I can find it. Let's see. There we go. I will pull this up. Stand by. This would take me just a half a second.
Wait, I found one. Is this it?
There we go. Nope, here it is. It's the same streamer, Loser Fruit, and I have got
I might have to watch her.
It's pretty funny. All right, can you hear?
That will sustain me in battle.
What freaking fucking food is that, Darth Vader? Tell me.
Double down.
Freaking fucking.
What?
Such vulgarity does not become you.
Not allowed.
You inquire about sustenance.
Oh my god! No!
And yet
Oh my god!
Speak like a common thug. As for what sustains me,
oh my god!
You would not comprehend its composition. It is.
I made him swear.
That will sustain.
Yeah. So it makes you when you get dressed down for swearing by Darth Vader, you get.
It does not become you.
It does not become someone of your station. But he can talk with the pros. That's for sure. Yeah, so Darth Vader's definitely saying wild things in Fortnite. So if you want to go and have some fun, go have some fun with that. AC Ray says, screw Hogwarts. Give me Gunner Krieg Court.
I've never heard of.
Familiar with this? What is Gunner Krieg Court? But yeah, that's what happened in Fortnite this week.
Comic? It's a webcomic. Oh, it's probably like a fantasy webcomic.
Oh, is it webcomic? Okay, I will definitely look that up.
I've heard of that.
All right, what else you got?
What else do I have? Oh yeah. Who was it? Someone asked what Yves Guillemot was up to. Corey, you asked what Yves Guillemot was up to? Yves Guillemot's son is returning to Ubisoft after leaving in 2021.
Nice, the nepotism.
That's not all.
Nepo babies everywhere.
So this is coming from Insider Gaming. That Charlie Guillemot will be rejoining the company.
Charles Guillemot.
To lead the company's transformation committee. This committee will consist of 10 members that will guide the evolution of Ubisoft's brands and studios over the next 100 days.
I would have a lot more faith in the brand evolution if it wasn't being run by Yves Guillemot's son. I mean, that's one of the problems with Ubisoft is they keep hiring their friends and family who keep screwing up badly and costing them money and then making crappy, repetitive, derivative games that don't do well. Most recent, Shadows being a notable exclusion to that.
Interesting that you say that because Charlie co-led Ubisoft Owlent. Let's see. No. Charlie, within the company, was criticized for being responsible for one of the many controversies Ubisoft faced in 2020, when the company used Black Lives Matter imagery in association with a terrorist group for the mobile game Elite Squad. He was also present basically during all of COVID. Charlie was in Ubisoft, basically doing his thing. He took full responsibility for the Black Lives Matter being a terrorist organization. So yeah, it's
that's the guy you want part of your transition team to.
That's the guy who will lead Ubisoft's brands.
God. The Guillemot family is a classic case of what Kevin used to call succeeding upwards. Like the worse you are, somehow you continue to just move up. God, that whole family just...
Well, it's easy to move up when your dad owns the company.
That's true. It's easy to move up when your dad... It's called nepotism. Yeah, he's a nepo baby. But, God, that whole family just honestly needs to take a gigantic dose of like whatever hormone it takes to make you stop breeding.
Come on, where was it? I saw another good... where is it? Oh, yes. So when he left Ubisoft in 2021, he did so to pursue new opportunities, which was becoming the CEO of a Web3 gaming company that never put out anything and never did anything. But you can be sure Charlie Guillemot was fully into the blockchain. He was fully into the NFTs.
I would venture to guess it's probably Charlie that has been in his dad's ear about the blockchain, about the NFTs, and about like all of that. The fact that he left and that Web 3.0 game didn't do anything tells me that the horrible left turn at Albuquerque that Ubisoft made when it started to deep dive into this whole NFT thing may have actually been Charlie. That might have been him. I always felt that Eve needs to stop talking to his tech bros, to his crypto bros. Charlie may be the crypto bro, but it was attributable to that.
Yeah.
Well, we will find
I'm on
he's part of their evolution team about where that company's direction is going. We will know if he is the crypto bro, and I bet you he was.
So I'm on Unagi's website where... Oh, wait, I can hear myself coming from you. Wait, not anymore.
That was just an internet thing.
Okay. I'm on their website, and apparently Unagi created an AI-driven entertainment merging anime and gaming called Persona, which has nothing to do with the Persona. No, nothing to do with the Persona series by Atlas, the beloved JRPG series. This is just a vague initiative merging anime and gaming called Persona.
And they didn't get sued by Atlas?
And this is the guy who will be leading brands for Ubisoft.
Oh my God.
Oh.
If I still owned Ubisoft stock, I would sell it.
When I went to this website and I saw Persona is shaping AI entertainment, I was like, wait, what Persona? Like, did Atlas do some? And then I kept reading and I realized, no, this has nothing to do with Persona. This is just some bullshit that's using that same name.
Yeah, and you didn't know it was Guillemot's son, huh?
Well, I did just now because I just went to the website, but yeah. Oh, Ubisoft is in trouble.
Ubisoft is in big trouble. Well, it may be that is intentional. He brought his loser son back to screw up the company so bad that it makes it worthwhile for Guillemot or Yves to do his little dance that he's going to do with making Tencent take all the assets and opening up a new company and then leaving the stockholders holding the bag with Ubisoft.
Yves is going to go with Tencent to the good Ubisoft. Charlie's going to get put in front of the bad Ubisoft.
Yep. Yeah.
God.
Yeah, it may be that's exactly what the plan is that put Charlie in as the head of this company that just before they rape it for all of its assets and take it over to Tencent and get billions of dollars from Tencent to own a portion of that company.
Man, it's so sad because I remember during the 360 era, Ubisoft was like leading the charge. They were making interesting, like brave, thematically daring games that were like really, really impressive.
Yeah. Something I'm really wonder what happened. I can't the shift in the entire way that company not only works but works within itself. Like I don't know how something happened. Either somebody came on or somebody left. Because to go from the company that it was to the company it is now, where it was valiantly defending itself from takeover by Vivendi, and then eventually taking Vivendi back as an ultimate fuck you, as a little guy. They were the little guy.
Yeah.
And now the fact that whole thematic of that company, that whole way of thinking, who they were at a core of the kind of company they are, is so different and so unmitigatingly tone deaf and flawed, makes me someday we will know what happened, but something happened. I have a feeling it was someone left or someone died. That Yves Guillemot was not running the company in the good times.
I think it was
people that were running it left. And now Yves is like, born on third and thought he hit a triple and has run it into the ground since then, slowly. But Yves is so good. I mean, he's such a good, shifty businessman, let's just say, that he makes Bobby Kotick kind of look like Pope Leo, in that if he can actually convince Tencent to give him money to buy a company he already owns and is failing, and to run that company too,
I think
for a minority share, a massive amount of money for a minority share of that company.
Thinking about it, I think that Ubisoft has always been a little reckless. Like when I look back, they were always the first to jump on and embrace new consoles. Like they jumped on the Wii U. And when that failed, that really saddled them with a bunch of, there was like some Wii Draw tablet or like iDraw. There was some tablet game that they put out that they invested a lot into that just utterly flopped. And I think they were an early open world innovator, right? With Assassin's Creed, the climbing the towers, they kind of innovated that, and everyone copied them.
Vertical gameplay was, their bread and butter.
They just kind of rode that wave, and that kept them afloat while they threw all these other misses and strikes. But eventually, that formula just kind of started to get stale. And as games became more expensive, they just stopped throwing those strikes. They just stopped altogether, and they just went all in on this formula that was kind of slowly getting more and more stale. They got Rainbow Six, and it's like, okay, we're going to get money from this. We'll just keep doing this, and they just kind of
bottomed out.
Yeah, they just bottomed out, and everything that they had invested in just kind of, they kept doing it over and over again for less returns.
And they were, like you said, very bold and early adopting of things like new consoles and open world and these things that were they were on the bleeding edge of their games.
If VR,
but then
if VR and Oculus had been a thing back then, they would have absolutely put out huge Assassin's Creed VR.
Absolutely. But well, as you were describing what your concept is of what may have happened, it reminds me of what we know happened at BioWare. The BioWare magic. They believed that the BioWare magic was just, that was a thing.
A real thing.
A real thing. BioWare magic. How are we going to make it happen? BioWare magic. We've always just made it happen by BioWare magic. By the way, did you watch that YouTube video that I sent you?
I didn't. I saw like an article write-up about it, a summary.
Oh.
But I didn't watch the video itself.
You do need to watch that video. It is by
Mark Dara.
Mark Dara, who was one of the original producers of Dragon Age from, the very get-go, from the origins point. And he was brought in on not Inquisition, Veilguard. He was brought in on Veilguard. And because it was floundering so bad. And he goes through a timeline from the point that he was brought in about everything that happened and the absolute shit show. Like he's clearly not under an NDA at all.
Well,
or if he is, he has so much money he doesn't care. But he's very clear about how
I read wasn't about him coming in for Veilguard. It was before then. Before he was there previously. What I remember reading, the one thing that I really remember was after EA bought BioWare, they for some reason reported to the sports department.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, no one at sports cared about BioWare.
Yeah, they just
they were
largely
BioWare
free BioWare. They
to
let
do
them
their own thing.
And do their own thing. Just put out games. We're not going to bother you. And then they got somebody in at EA
and then at a certain point,
to be very hands-on. And that's
someone was like, they shouldn't be reporting to the sports team. They should be reporting to the other team. And the other team wanted to be more hands-on. And so it was like, EA has always been accused of you buy a studio and then you kind of slowly run it into the ground. They've done it a lot of times before. I feel like they get a bad rap for it, but this really feeds into that and makes a good case for it being a real thing because BioWare bought them. They didn't really become a part of EA and were doing well. But the moment they started reporting to an executive who wanted to be more hands-on, where they actually became part of EA, that's when everything started to go wrong. And I think he reported that EA didn't really care about Dragon Age. They kept taking people off the Dragon Age team for Anthem and for Mass Effect, but not giving people back. So it's like the slowly starving the game of resources.
Right, because they were pulling people off of it to do Anthem, and Anthem was just...
Yeah.
It was an absolute resource suck.
Yeah, it's a good video that people should watch or read a summary of it. That's what I did. Just
watch it. It's not very long. It's 16 minutes, and he goes through an entire kind of timeline of the last year-ish before the releasing of Veilguard, and how a little bit of background, obviously, because he'd had the background on it. And then from that point on, how things were already off the rails. And then he was told things by EA and by BioWare of why to come back. And then how they essentially betrayed him in every way possible, to the point where they were doing things on his team that he didn't find out about until it was announced, and this was his team. Just, yeah, it's, watch it. It's very refreshing to see somebody talk in public about what went wrong with a epically failed game. I wouldn't call it a bad game. I would call it an epically bomb, an epic bomb of a game.
It's a peek into like the development game business that you don't usually see.
Right. And to see it so plainly said by someone in public, in a, like the kind of stuff that you feel like, hey, should you be saying this? But then again, it's Mark Darrah. He doesn't have to worry about getting a job again. Probably got more than enough money to be able to survive. So, and he's clearly not under an NDA. And if he is, he doesn't care.
Yeah.
But it's absolutely roasts EA. It absolutely roasts BioWare. And it was a revelation, let's just say. It was kind of like, you feel like all of a sudden he's telling you stuff out of school, but it's on YouTube.
It's like, why hasn't this video been taken
Chris
down?
is literally pacing next to me. I can see he's got something to say, but don't say it. Don't say it. Don't say it. Don't say it. You
Give
don't
us
have
the dirt.
And you're not Mark Darrah.
Give us the dirt. Drop the hot goss.
No, do not drop the hot goss. I don't want any hot goss.
All of it.
Moving
Breaking
right along.
news.
All right. So, let's see. Then, name names. No names shall be named. Anyway, moving right along. Tell me about let's see. Let's see. I don't want to talk about Epic. I don't want to talk about Epic.
Here, I've got one. Speaking
more Epic complaining about Apple, blah blah blah.
Speaking of EA, their other big game, Marvel, the Captain America Black Panther game by Amy Hennig, who directed Uncharted games, has been delayed. Which kind of makes sense. We haven't really seen a whole lot about it. I guess it was supposed to come out this year, but we haven't heard anything about that. So there's not so much of a surprise.
Makes me wonder about what's going on. After hearing what Mark Darrah said, makes me wonder what's going on behind the scenes. Like, who's getting pulled off of what project? Who's getting pulled off of this project to go on to something else, and not being, people not telling anybody that they're doing it.
Yeah.
Executive decisions being made in boardrooms about, like actual individual teams, without anybody actually being involved in the decision that actually is working on the team. So yeah, I mean, also 2026 is a terrible year at this point to be coming out, because you're going to be up against GTA now.
Oh wait, I don't think this is EA.
It isn't?
Is this Skydance Media? I thought it was published by EA. No, it's developed and published by Skydance Interactive.
Oh, it's Skydance.
Yeah.
So Amy Hennig is actually producing it, and developing it and producing it.
I believe she's the creative director.
She's just the creative director. I thought that she was the head of the company.
No, I don't think she's head of Skydance.
Okay, I thought that she started Skydance on her own, but
no, Skydance is the game arm of the movie studio. Skydance does Mission Impossible.
Oh, you're right. It's kind of like Annapurna.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, even so, that's a kind of a shame for them, because they're going to be up against GTA, whether it's before or after, unless they're coming out at the end of the year.
Hey, at least now they have an exact date for GTA, so they know where to avoid.
They have a sort of date.
No, they have an exact date. They have a day and month.
What was the month?
I forget, because look, when the time comes, everyone will be talking about it, and I'll know. It's not like I do a podcast about this sort of thing when I'm expected to know this basic information about one of the biggest games in the history of the medium. May 26th, 2006. So early in the year.
Do we have a day? Do we have a month for GTA?
May.
Oh, that's May. Oh, it's May. Yes, I thought you were talking
May.
about Skydance, about Rise of the Marvel 1943. It's like if they could bring that comes out at the end of the year, they'll be fine. But if they're anywhere near the early to mid-year, they're kind of
no date for.
They really should just delay it to 2027 at this point. The 2026, just everyone should just run from the whole year because they literally planted themselves in the middle of the year.
Yeah.
So everybody at the beginning of the year is not going to buy it because they need to save up more than $100 for the game. Everybody at the end of the year is not going to buy it because they already spent their money on GTA and they're still playing it for the rest of the year. 2026, just delay everything.
Nothing will come out except for
nothing
GTA 6.
should come out.
It'll be the only game released that year.
Yeah, I think that would probably be a wise thing to do. Speaking of which, I mean, all right, let me put a pin in that. I'm going to rip through a couple of things that are small. Hideo Kojima has announced that there is going to be a world tour for Death Stranding 2. Cool. If you want to share your love for Death Stranding 2 with other people, or say your love for Death Stranding and your excitement for Death Stranding 2.
I saw a news story where he was talking about how the internal playtests had ranked it at 80 and Sony was really happy that it got ranked that high. Mm-hmm. But he was like, I kind of want to make something a bit more divisive. I don't want to make something that everyone loves. I want to make something less
good man,
divisive.
Good
and
man.
I'm kind of disappointed that the internal test was so positive.
He's a good guy. I like him.
Yeah.
Anyway, there's going to be a world tour with dates all around the globe. There's going to be Death Stranding 2 themed events and special guests, but they really haven't said what these events are. But the dates are in the United States. If you were in the US, you are going to be going to Los Angeles in 2 weeks, June 8th. So that's the one event in the United States. Everywhere else, June 14th in Sydney, June 26th in Tokyo, June 28th in Paris. They could have given us a little more notice, guys. June 30th in London, July 4th in Seoul, July 6th in Taipei, July 9th in Hong Kong, July 12th in Shanghai. Somewhere in August, it's going to be Riyadh. Somewhere in October, it's going to be Sao Paulo. And November, it's going to be in Lucca. So, yeah, I mean, if you're anywhere in the United States, Los Angeles.
Yeah,
in 2 weeks.
It's pretty much LA.
Yeah, a little bit of more notice would have been nice because, buying airline tickets. But again, we don't specifically know what's going to be there other than, what they say. Death Stranding 2 themed events and some guests. And it's being with other people who love Death Stranding and making new friends, I guess. I don't know. But that's a thing.
Death Stranding is all about bringing people together. These events are just about bringing people together.
It's not about running across an
Stranding game.
Tundra by yourself. Well, no, you weren't by yourself. You had a baby, a fetus on your chest.
Yeah. Oh shit. What was his name? Clyde. Clove? Oh, it's
what was the name of the baby?
Oh, it's a weird name. Just Google Death Stranding baby.
Yeah. Somebody in the chat room knows. What's the name of the Death Stranding baby?
Death Stranding baby. I have to type with one hand.
Get off my belly.
Oh, what the hell is the name of the baby? Come on, Google.
Google doesn't even know what the name of the baby. It's like
Lou.
Lou was the name of the baby?
Lou.
I don't remember that.
Did you play the game?
I did.
Oh, you did? Oh.
Yes, of course I did. I played a lot of the game. I didn't finish it, but I played a lot of the game. All right, so the next item I have is something that is near and dear to the heart of at least one person in the chat room.
Okay,
and I'm doing this for you, AC. I'm doing this for you.
But I'm sorry, I gotta take a
next
quick
big Warframe
break.
update. What do you have to do?
I'll go to the bathroom.
Oh, to go to the bathroom. Okay. The next big Warframe update. Turn off your headset before you go in the bathroom, Nick. I don't want to have one of those Leslie Nielsen moments. The next big Warframe update has been revealed. He hasn't turned off his headset, has he? He hasn't turned off his headset. He's going to go take a piss with his headset on? Is he really going to do this? Please, Nick, tell me you've not done that. Okay, good. It sounds like he hasn't. The next big Warframe update is going. It was revealed at PAX East last week. No, Nick and I didn't go. Yes, we are going, as far as we're going to do our very best to get to PAX West. By the way, if you're thinking of going to PAX West, tickets are going on sale on the 22nd of May. So that's next week. If you want to be there, Nick and I are going to make our best efforts to be there as media. It's been a while, so we're going to have to convince them we're still around and still, relevant. But we're planning on going at this point. But the announcement was made that the long speculated Warframe, a spider-themed Warframe, which apparently has been much in demand since I guess they've had a bunch of Warframes that are based on monsters. I guess there was a werewolf Warframe at one point. Anyway, it's going to be called Auraxia. And it's going to be a major part of a new update that is called Islweaver. That is going to go live in June. They don't have a specific date when it's going to hit, but it's going to be next month. Auraxia is going to be found on an island called Duviri, which is going to be a massive open world zone. It is a massive open world zone that was released in 2023. It is going to get a bit of a revamp to be in this Islweaver. Oh, good. He left his headset behind. It is going to be a part. I didn't see you take off his headset. I was a little nervous there, Nick, because I didn't see that you took off your headset. And I was afraid you were going to pull a Leslie Nielsen and just leave it on when you went to the bathroom.
I know. I heard you.
Okay, good. So that's a thing. The revamp in the Islweaver update is going to revamp Duviri. So that is going to be next month at some point. And that is a story 100% for our community manager. Thank you for linking the Naked Gun toilet break. If you have no idea what I mean by a Leslie Nielsen moment, watch that. Also, bask in the sunlight of the humor from when I was a kid. There we go. Islweaver coming in June. So if this is 100% for our community manager, AC Rake. So I'm happy for you. I know you're excited. I know your tail is wagging, and it should be. So you can tell us all about how great Spider is. So that's all I got other than that. Well, except other than kind of I wanted to do a small dive, not a very deep dive. Let's say a shallow dive. I'm now changing officially. We're going to do a shallow dive on what we were talking about earlier.
Okay.
$100
I'm
plus.
Interested to hear this.
Asking is $100 plus asking too much for a game? Now this has been very, 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 very discussed because has it been confirmed or just speculated that GTA 6 is going to be more than $100?
Entire speculation, because Nintendo increased the base price of games for the Switch 2 to $80. Microsoft is going to increase the base price for all of its first-party games later this year to $80. So at the very least, people speculate that GTA will be $80 base.
Okay.
And look, let's be honest. There's going to be a special edition that's $100. There's going to be an ultra special deluxe edition that's $150. There's going to be different special versions that are more than that.
Right. So Chris and I were in the car. We were, going over because went down to San Jose, and he was pointing out where Atari used to be. Okay, thank you. I will use that as a reference point. So he was pointing out where one of his first jobs out of college was, and where when he was a kid, because his dad was in the movie industry, they were connected to Atari. As a kid, he actually got to go to the Atari headquarters and take a tour when he was a little kid, and he actually got to see, and he was right over there. That's where they would build they actually built the Centipede the ones that you saw in pizza parlors and arcades. They actually built them in a building right over there, and I saw them actually making them. And so it was not like, and it was just like a very nondescript one-story, building, the way that tech buildings used to be in Silicon Valley back in the day. Well, he was talking about, his first computer where he started to learn how to code on it. And it was an Atari 2600 and how much it cost. And he said that he remembered that he got his dad to buy games. What was it?
Atari 2600 wasn't the computer, that was the console.
I'm sorry, the console, right. So sorry, my brain just got dropped. So how he would have to beg his dad to buy him cartridges for games, because back in those days, games came in cartridges. And cartridges back then for the 2600 typically sold for about $25 to $40 for a cartridge.
This is in the 80s?
In the 80s. Now, we pulled this up in 1980. So we pulled this up. Let me pull this up on the screen so that you can see it. So we were in the car, and I pulled up this inflation calculator with US CPA data. And so I looked, and back then I was looking at what he paid for one of his game, which was he said $29. You remembered one game. And we're talking about at the level of when you were doing like adventure. This was not.
This is 35.
Sorry, 35 to 40. Is that how much they were? Do you remember? Okay. All right, 35. And that's not on sale. He might have gotten on sale. But these were like really rudimentary video games by comparison to what they are. Right. Like it says, like adventure. These were just like essentially pixels moving on a screen. Not much more than that. And that was in 1980. Let me go to 1980. All right. In April 2025, the cost of that, $136. That's how much it was costing us when we were kids. Dollar cost averaging based on what our parents were making. That's how much when we asked our parents for a game. That's what was in our parents' head compared to what you're thinking about today. $136. And these were very, very rudimentary games that took a handful of people and could be made in less than a year.
But they weren't rudimentary.
Look at the amount of money
but they weren't rudimentary
to make these games now, and that we're getting them for $70.
But okay, first of all, though, they weren't rudimentary. They were state of the art at the time.
They were state of the art at the time. Yes,
that's important. They were pushing,
but they also didn't require a lot of assets, a lot of resources.
Yeah.
And if you look at the price of a console, he's pulling it up right now.
It says right there what it is in 2000.
Okay, so the introductory price of an Atari 2600 was in the US $189.95. That in 2024 is equivalent to $990. So when we asked our parents for a video game, a console and a game, we're asking them in today's money an investment of somewhere around $1,200 that no parent would pay these days. And here's another thing to consider. And this kind of gets to the politics of the whole thing. Back in those days, it took only a handful of people, but they were all made in the United States. That's how much things cost back then by comparison. But we were all making so much more money, dollar cost averaging, than we are today. We had the disposable income. Your average family had $1,200 to drop on kids at Christmas. That isn't the case now. And it's because back then things were made in America. They were made in the United States, they were made by people that were being paid a living wage to actually make this stuff. And then we started shipping it overseas. The price of it they started paying us less.
Well, it's
most people don't have $1,200 to drop anymore.
It's the inevitable, capitalism left to its own devices. What a capitalist will sell you the noose you hang him with.
Yeah.
The inevitable result of a unregulated capitalist system is a race to the bottom.
Right.
And what that means is when the globalization, you ship it over to China.
Yeah.
Or they will make it for pennies.
And it was in the 1980s that the regulations on the capitalistic system that had worked so beautifully for 200 years were taken off. They just pulled all those regulations off. And this is where we are now. And is that we don't have a middle class that can drop $1,200.
Yeah. No, the middle class has been systematically
Chris's dad was a vice president of a major Hollywood corporation, and he lived in a house in Tarzana. A VP of a major Hollywood corporation now has a house in Malibu and a condo in London and a townhouse in New York and a vacation home in Florida, and he's got offshore bank accounts full of bajillions of dollars because they all make so much more money than the guy that's at the bottom. Before there was like the difference between the lowest paid employee and the highest paid employee in a company was something like 200, 300, 400%. Now it's to the tune of like thousands of percent difference.
Yeah.
So the guys at the top making way more than they ever were, the guys at the bottom making way less than they ever were. That's why back then you could afford $130 video game and $1,000 console system, is because we had the money to spend, because we were all being paid a living wage. And I know that gets a little bit into politics, but right now with tariffs coming on, it's affecting video games. It's affecting everything, but more so than just about any other time in the history of this podcast. We are talking about tariffs because it's directly affecting the cost of our games. It's directly affecting the cost of our consoles. It's directly affecting the cost of our peripherals, everything. Mice, keyboards, it's all going to go up at a time when we're making less than we have ever made in this country. And this Make America Great Again thing can't possibly happen, because what made America great was that we had capitalism with controls on it so that everyone succeeded.
You know who it is.
In the 80s, they pulled those off, and there's no way we will ever be able to put that genie back in a bottle. They will not stand for it. The guys that are making at the top of that tier will never let that happen. Yeah. So there is no Make America. There's no again. It can't happen again. They won't let it happen again.
But to get more directly into politics, you know who it is? It's Milton Friedman.
Milton Friedman?
Milton Friedman is the fucker who proposed and was the big proponent of the capitalist philosophy that companies should maximize profits over everything else. That it's not about making a good product. It's about profit over everything else.
Right. And there's nothing wrong with profit. There's nothing wrong with profit over everything else. But it is when it's profit over everybody else. And then we're going to take all the money to the guys at the top and screw all the rest of them. If you were just making profit, and you shared it equitably, not equally, but equitably among the entire chain, it would perpetuate itself. There would be a constant increase.
But it wouldn't, because the entire point of that philosophy that we have to maximize profits is how you get the race to the bottom, where, we could make it in America, but we could make it cheaper overseas. So let's do it overseas and not think twice about it. That's what it all comes back to. So you blame everything on Friedman.
And well, again, it would have been fine if they paid everyone in the United States that they had left, they move all the manufacturing over to foreign countries to make a bunch of money. Great. keep making sure that everybody domestically here in the country where you're at is still equitably on the same trajectory of income increase based on those. But they didn't do that because the guards were taken off. And case in point, our EC Wraith, I mean, again, this is the most political GameHounds has ever been. He posted a link. Reagan killed USA guitar manufacturing. My front row seat from the Dean Zelinsky show number 11. Yeah. This is the same issue within the guitar industry, within the video game industry, within the car industry, within the electronics industry, within the wood products industry, within the sawdust industry, the paper industry, all of it. Yeah, every industry. And I don't want to get into politics, but there's a name right there. There's a name that is still revered.
What name? Oh, Reagan? Oh, no. Yeah, fuck
that's
that dude.
Still revered in many circles. And the thing is that that's the person who took the guards off and let uncontrolled capitalism be uncontrolled.
I think we touched on this a little bit when we were talking about like the price when Nintendo announced the big price that like variable pricing is good.
Variable pricing is
and good. That like, yes, gaming in terms of like dollars per entertainment is statistically lower than it's ever been for the value. But like all that talk misses the point that all the costs of living have gone up and the cost of pay has not gone up with everything else. There's inflation, there's cost of living, there's, groceries, all those prices have gone up. Entertainment prices have gone up, but salaries and minimum wage have not gone up.
That's what this chart shows is that, cost of living has gone up, and that's perfectly fine if the average
average pay
had also gone up by the same amount, and it didn't. And there is your problem. So that we don't have, if our pay had been commensurate with the cost of living, the actual increase in the value of the dollar, we're just not talking about the cost of living of how much it costs to produce stuff. We're talking about just the value of the dollar. If it had been commensurate with that, everyone in the middle class, by and large, could afford to drop $1,200 on a single game and a console. Nobody would be complaining about a $900 or $1,000 console. It wouldn't be absolutely inconceivable to us. We wouldn't think that console's dead. It's too expensive because we'd all have an extra $1,200 to drop whenever we wanted to because we made enough.
Well, and the death spiral that the industry finds itself in now, that a lot of industries do, is that, well, the people that can't afford it are becoming smaller and smaller, but they're also people with disposable income. So let's jack up the prices more and more because they have the money, but they're also a shrinking demographic. Right. It's what movie theaters are running into, where like the price of movie tickets keep going up, and like a lot of the box office problems in the recent years is that casual movie going has decreased. No one goes to the movies casually anymore.
No, because it's too expensive to go to a movie casually.
You can't. A family of four is like $100.
Yeah, it's more than $100.
Yeah,
to go for a family of four to go without any kind of discount or rewards club or anything, and that's excluding, in some cases, some of these movies, that's excluding popcorn.
Yeah, absolutely. Although
not even counting the popcorn and the concessions and anything else, and parking.
Well, parking you don't usually have to pay for at a movie theater.
Generally speaking, not, but you might.
Yeah,
depends on your movie theater.
But yeah, so it's so the cost of everything's going up, and that makes all entertainment into like an upper class niche. Like movie going is now just an upper class niche.
Right.
But the problem with that is that there's not enough upper class niche people to
there's not enough rich people, and if they do, they have their own movie theaters in their houses. They're not going to go to the theater. And Chris was making a point to me is, in the day back in the 80s, if you didn't have the equivalent of $125 to spend on dinner, well, probably $150 on dinner and movie and concessions, right? There was an alternative. You took your kids in the car and you went to a drive-in and you brought your own food and you had a great time and it was dirt cheap, especially if you stuck 1 or 2 kids in the trunk, which they did. And we all did. I've been in more trunks than I would like to admit.
Or especially if you park like just outside the drive-in, but you like get the radio station and you're like, I can kind of see the screen. I got the right radio station.
There's no radio station.
Oh, modern drive-ins.
Yeah, modern drive-ins. You can go and you can get up over on the hill.
I've done that before.
Cheapskate Hill and watch. Yeah. But no, we had the thing that you had to hook over the inside of your window, and then they would bring you your concessions through the window. Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, I hate doing the back in my days. I mean, I like doing them when it's a joke. I hate doing them very seriously, especially when we're, again, wrapping up politics. And this has been a thing in this podcast for 15 years. It has been like, no politics. We're not talking politics. But now there is a direct crossover. And it goes back to Make America Great Again. That can't happen. It won't happen. What made America great is things were made in the United States by people that were making a crap ton of money by our standards for doing jobs that you could get with a high school diploma. You can't do that anymore.
Ironically,
those don't exist, and they never will exist again. Even if you brought manufacturing back, no one would pay Americans. Americans wouldn't do the job for what they need to be paid for to be competitive. And bosses would never pay them what they need to pay to make them do the job.
What made America great was a level of wealth equality that modern politicians call communism.
Right. Well, it's not modern. It's not equality. It's equity. It's about income equity that, yes, today we would call communism. It wasn't. It was capitalism with controls. That's all it was. But then
the problem today,
certain people, let me bring this back up. Certain people labeled it communism, and then all of a sudden the middle class disappeared.
And I think the problem today, specifically facing the game industry, is that, you know, we're in this race to the bottom, but there's stuff at the bottom. Mm-hmm. There's free-to-play games. There's Genshin Impact. There's Fortnite. There's Apex Legends. And
free-to-play is not free-to-play, as I have learned, is that a 13-year-old can very quickly drop $150 on Robux without even thinking about it.
Has the large chunk of the industry, or at least actually it's not a large chunk of the industry, has the niche part of the industry that we follow, the console gaming, the big budget gaming, has all of that gets more expensive and becomes more niche, that drives more people to those free-to-play games, which, yes, you can spend a lot of money on them, but they're easy to get into. And what that means is, we'll play Genshin Impact and buy and drop like, what, $50 or $30 or something, trying to get a new character. Some other game comes out, and she might think, well, I could play the new Assassin's Creed. Oh, but it's $60. I don't want to spend that much. I'll wait for it to go on sale. In the meantime, I'm going to spend $30 on Genshin Impact. Mm-hmm. 3 months later, Assassin's Creed goes on sale for $30. Oh, I could buy it now, but I'm also really enjoying Genshin Impact. I'm just going to spend the $30 on the game I'm already playing.
There's a reason why she's 13 and still playing Roblox. Because of that thinking, because of like, why would I change when I am so much enjoying what I have?
And what that means is
spending money on it.
An entire generation has grown up on those free-to-play games and are now into them. That's like a lost generation for the other industry up here that's too expensive. Like,
that's a very good way of putting it.
They've priced out an entire generation.
It's an entire generation who will not buy games because they love their free-to-play games, and they've been playing them for all their whole life, and they will never leave because they
all their friends are playing it too.
Yeah, that's a lost generation for the gaming industry. When I talk about gaming industry, I'm talking about like AAA console and or
Yeah, like
you know,
single player focused
player
console
experience.
gaming, things
Right,
like that.
right.
All the stuff we like has old people. God, I remember when I was the young one on the podcast.
Yeah, you just called
now
yourself
I'm
an old person for the
oldie.
first time. Oh, look
Fucking
at you.
oldie.
Welcome to
I'm
the old
over the hill officially.
You know, you're not that far away. It's just a couple, not that long. You can actually apply for an AARP card, which I just got mine, and it's actually a really good deal, and you get a lot of discounts.
Wait, what age did you apply for that?
50.
Oh, I mean, I'm still a decade away.
Get it? I mean, I resisted because it's like, fuck you. I remember I'm 49 and Schwab sent me a book about investing at age 50. And I was like, I literally wrote them a fuck you letter back. I'm 49. Fuck you. I really, like, I wrote them a letter back, handwritten with a stamp saying fuck you. I was that angry. But yeah, get when you turn 50, get your ARP card. But also consider this when you talk about this lost generation. It may very well be lost to actual like $50,
it's lost
games.
To Kingdom Come. It's lost to Baldur's Gate. It's lost to Alan Wake, Dragon Age, Halo, all those.
Discrete single player experience or multiplayer experience as opposed to like these like the live service games.
But the epics of the world.
You know what the other thing that it also has done? We would never stand for games on this thing.
Oh, yeah.
But because we don't have the disposable income we used to have, now we will.
No, but this is also represents a race to the bottom.
Actually, it says, yeah, we did. It was called Mattel Football.
But this also represents a race to the bottom because no one buys $20 iPhone games. The ecosystem opened up. Apple created this entirely new ecosystem for games and allowed it
with the concept of 99-cent games. Remember, all games were 99 cents. Now they're like you can pay as much as $15 for one.
But what that means is that made everyone go, "Oh, I'm not going to pay more than 99 cents." And so you created the single most ubiquitous gaming device in the world. And you can only put cheap slop on it.
You can only put cheap slop on it, and you are rewarded because of how poorly it is policed.
Yeah.
You are rewarded for putting the most awful kind of dribble onto the platform that will sucker people in to pay 99 cents because 99 cents is nothing to them because it's under $1. You don't even think about it. But that's how a lot of these just shovelware developers are making so much money is by making 99-cent games that aren't even games. They're just a clever name to make you click buy.
Yeah. Yeah, the rip-offs.
Rip-off games.
The rip-offs, or like if you search, I'm sure if I search like Kingdom Come, it'd be like, oh, Kingdom Come 2 Guide. Or
delivering.
Like
Kingdom Come Delivering.
Oh, yes.
And it's a pizza game.
I actually gotta see what would happen if
You should see, yeah. Let's see. AC Wright did right. I mentioned this before, but I was sometimes spending $80 of 80s money on an NES game. Let's go to the board. The board says $80, and we're gonna look at 1985, just to be fair, right in the middle. In April 2025. $238 in modern money. That tells you, all you young folks sitting on my knee, come over to Annie Edith and I will explain to you, we had $230 to spend because we had that much extra money over what we were already paying for everything we had. We had that much disposable income. Our parents easily had that much disposable income. $200? Yeah, they think about it. You might get it for your birthday or for Christmas, but yeah, you'd get it for your birthday or Christmas.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember back in the day when we were watching games.
Back in my day.
You like Price is Right, where you have to guess the price?
Yeah.
A car. You always knew the first number was always 4. It was always $4,000. Cars cost $11,000. They were
that's a cheap car.
Right, but they were
that is a cheap car
that
today.
was like your basic model, but they were affordable. We could do that. We didn't spend as much on certain things because we had, and that allowed us to have disposable income. We made a lot. Things that we made were in some ways less expensive. Other things, they were about as expensive as they currently are.
Yeah.
Essentially, I don't want to say luxury items, but luxury items were affordable. And middle class items were more expensive because middle class had more money. Actually, that's not really fair. 1985 was too late. We're talking about 75 was when I was watching it. 75. Yeah, $23,000. You could buy a car for $20,000. Yep. Hey.
Back in the old days, the boss drove a Cadillac.
Yeah, he did. It is something that Chris mentioned is that back in the old days, like you're talking about the VP of a major corporation, that major Hollywood corporation, like not little, like big corporation, lived in Tarzana and drove a Cadillac. And his boss, that was the CEO and the founder of the company, he had a Rolls Royce. That's how you indicated that was the evidence of your level of wealth. Now you have an island and planes. I mean, Bobby Kotick has what, 2 or 3 jets?
Probably.
Yeah. Bobby Kotick, by comparison to what Chris's dad is small potatoes. Like job to job, small potatoes compared to what Chris's dad was.
Yeah, but also like Bobby Kotick's part of the problem, but Bobby Kotick isn't the main problem.
Bobby Kotick isn't the main problem. The main problem is obviously what happened to us since the 1980s when things started to get bad.
I mean, like
they'll never come back. You will never be able to put the guardrails on to make things great again. Those were guardrails that now we consider to be communism.
These fucking cats.
What's the cat doing?
They go in, they come out. They go in, they come out.
That's what cats do. They're fickle. They're fickle, little, obnoxious. Sorry.
No,
I love cats.
You're staying here.
I love cats. I do. I love cats.
You come in.
No. I had a parent with a job at Mitra, probably doing computer stuff for missiles, and made a good living. And I mean, this is getting far too deep a dive, but in a way, I kind of blame. Like it was a perfect storm of that right there. Where is it? That happening at the same time of the rise of the tech industry, because then you had
the tech industry.
Right. That change. I mean, if it had just been this. That would have been one thing. But the fact that it was that, and all of a sudden you had these companies being started with 2 guys that made so much money, and they were paying people huge amounts of money, like obscene amounts of money, and then it became expected to be paid that in the tech industry, which percolated through all other industries. That if Steve Jobs had that much money, then I should have that much money as a CEO. I should be getting this. If Steve Jobs has it, I should have it. And all of a sudden now every CEO needed to be making Steve Jobs money. Because Steve Jobs was a kid. He revolutionized an entire industry. Yet you, head of XYZ company who revolutionized nothing, think that you should be making as much as you.
Motherfucking cat. Get off of the goddamn table. God. I'm going to knock over this.
As our last item for today is going to be deep dive into cats suck. Dogs rule. Cats
you want to, Jupiter, do you want to at least come over here and stick your butt up into the webcam?
No, he just wants to lie on the keyboard because it's nice and warm.
Come here. There you go. Oh yeah, just turn around.
Jupy.
Turn around. No.
Show us your butt.
Oh, come on.
Show us your butt.
Look, take a step
It's
forward.
not a Jupiter day unless we see your butt. Back of head. It's pretty cute though.
He's not going to turn around.
So that was our deep dive into everything that's wrong with this country. What the hell happened to this country, and now it's never going to be fixed, and it's stupid to actually vote that way because it can't be fixed. Yeah, cats. Good for you. I do like cats. I do like cats.
Oh, they're great. I love them. Except when they almost knock over my drinks on the computer.
Right. The whole like jump up on something and go.
Oh, it's not even that. You know how, okay, have you seen like the viral videos of like, you put a bunch of dominoes along a hallway and the cat like, and avoids all of them?
Oh, they just go right through it?
Not these fuckers. These fuckers are blah, 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 blah.
So you're saying that your cats are the dogs of cats?
Yes.
Yeah.
And they like to eat the ends of cables.
Oh my God. Oh.
Don't eat cables, cat.
Oh God, that would drive me nuts. Yeah, I mean, Chris has a cat, a dog in a cat suit, and you have dogs and you have dogs in cat suits too.
Yeah.
Anyway. Is there anything else that we want to talk about before we close off this show that has gone way too long after I said I didn't want it to go too long because I'm feeling under the weather? By the way, you did hear me sneeze. It's still there. I'm fighting it, but it's a valiant battle that is being waged.
Watch The Devil's Plan.
I am not okay. I'll watch The Devil's Plan. Maybe
everybody should watch The Devil's Plan
tomorrow night when I'm alone because I don't know that we'll be interested in watching it, but I'll give it a shot. We'll see.
So good. So good.
I know you say it's good, and Rachel came in, and before we started the show, Rachel came in to convince me why I really do need to watch The Devil's Plan, even though I hate with a passion reality shows and game shows. But
you're just talking about watching The Price is Right.
Right, but that was when I was a kid, and because there was nothing else on but game shows. It was like The Price is Right, or Let's Make a Deal, or what was it? Joker. What was it? The one, Joker's Wild. Yeah, Password. That's all you had in the afternoon was game shows. You didn't have a choice. But Rachel has sort of like, you have to watch this show. Even if you hate reality shows and you hate game shows, you have to watch the show because it's Korean and they're all very, very nice. They spend a bunch of time and a bunch of effort trying not to screw over the other guy. And it's like, okay, that's an interesting twist on this reality show thing.
They feel really bad about it.
They feel bad when they do have to screw somebody over. And they try to do the least amount of damage when they have to make a decision. So I'll give it a shot, but probably when I'm alone because I don't know that would fly.
No. He probably wouldn't be into it. You have seen Death Note, right?
I have seen Death Note.
You love Death Note.
I absolutely love Death Note.
It's a reality show that somehow captures that cat and that intellectual cat and mouse. That like, I'm thinking I've got a plan and I'm going to implement it. I've got another plan and I'm doing it. And I see your plan and I'm going to counter it.
But see, that seems like it's adversarial. And that's why I don't want it. How could you have Death Note if it's not adversarial?
Because the way the games are structured, right? Mm-hmm. There has to be someone eliminated.
Right.
And so there are games where people are, competing with each other. But it's like, okay, if I do this, that's going to hurt you, but I don't want to hurt you. What can we do? And so like you get kind of the weird, the alliances that form in other shows. But it's like, well, I don't want to hurt you, so I'm going to save you. But by saving you, I hurt that guy. And so that kind of means that we're on a team now. Mm-hmm. And it's like, how does that work? And there's an interesting like class structure to it because there's a living quarter and like a prison quarter, and so that creates this interesting
prison quarter. What?
Yeah, an interesting class dynamic between like the prisoners competing against the
This is not selling it to me. This is very much not selling it to me. A prison quarter. You have to understand. I really don't like watching shows. It's one of the reasons, like when Survivor first came out, Kevin was like, absolutely. He watched what's the other one? Big Brother. He watched Big Brother, and like every season of Big Brother until the day he died. He loved that stuff. I could not do that. And I refused to watch even Survivor because I did not want to watch a show that glorified people being shitty to each other, because that's been my whole life, is being in offices where that happens. I don't need to come home and watch it happen to somebody else.
It does not
makes me
glorify,
feel personally victimized.
It does not glorify being shitty to someone. I can 100%
there's a prison quarter.
There is.
All right.
It manages to strike a really interesting balance. And like, I think when I watch it, I think, man, my first reaction to watching the first season was, oh, I want to watch a whole bunch of other Korean reality shows because maybe it's just something with the culture that's different. But I watched a bunch of other Korean reality shows and they didn't quite capture that same dynamic.
Okay. I will give it a shot. I will give it a shot this week.
Also, I'm also
now
just
that
saying
I also have actually the 3 things that I needed at the house: a toilet, a refrigerator, and the other thing that got blown out was the cable modem. So I have all 3. So now I can actually watch things at home and play games at home.
I'm also saying this to like the audience. You should all watch The Devil's Plan. Even if Edie doesn't like it, you should watch it.
All right. We will be watching it. All right. Anything else before we close out this show? This incredibly long show that wasn't about. Why? How do you do this to me?
What else have I seen lately that was good?
Stop.
Fight or Flight was a really fun movie.
I know, Nick. Don't listen. Do not get me started on Fight or Flight. Did you see it? There is an issue in this house.
It's a household issue? I didn't realize this movie would be so controversial.
So there were 2 movies that were a possibility for Chris to see by himself. Fight or Flight. And Clown in a Cornfield.
Oh my God. You went to see Clown in a Cornfield?
No.
Oh, okay.
He was seeing a movie by himself, and I said, go see Clown in the Cornfield, because I absolutely will not see that, and I really do want to see Fight or Flight.
Oh, but he went to see Fight or Flight.
I came back the next day, like, yeah, Fight or Flight was really good. You would have loved it. What did I say? Really was very much an Edie movie. I know. That's why I told you not to go see it.
I'm sure to be on the man soon.
People wonder why I say things like 4 times in a row. They think that I'm just being repetitive. No, it's because nobody listens. Nobody listens. And I really try to say it only once, and nobody listens. That's why I have a podcast, because you have to all listen to me.
That's true. You know what you would like? You know what you would like? Fight or Flight.
Fuck off.
Fuck off. Have you seen that?
I hate you.
Did you recommend that movie?
I truly hate you right now. Anyway, on that note, please close this out.
I'm trying to remember what else I've seen.
No, stop.
I'm
cutting you off right now.
What am I watching?
Cutting you off as we speak.
Let's
close this out.
I don't see myself muted.
Stop it. You've been listening to GameHounds. GameHounds episode 781. We did record this on Sunday, May 18th, 2025. I've been Edie Sellers, and with me has been Nick DeNicole. Ways to get a hold of us: gamehounds.net is our website. Gamehounds@gmail.com is our email. We record the show every Sunday at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern-ish on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Facebook, we are facebook.com/GameHounds. On YouTube, we are GameHounds Vids. VIDS is in videos. And on Twitch, we are GameHounds, or twitch.com/The GameHounds. We actually are GameHounds. One of these days, I'll tell you why we're not GameHounds on Twitch. It's a long story. But if you would like to join us live, we would love to have you. You could be in the chat room just like, oh gosh, so many people today. It was AC Wraith, of course, who is our community manager and our link bitch, and he's fantastic. We had, who else? AC Wraith. We had Forget Your Life. We had Corey Wallace. I can't remember anybody else. If I forgot you, I'm sorry. I'm scrolling really fast. It's going fast. Can't see it all, but thank you so much for being here. And if we would love to have you in here too. Now, if you do want to find out what we're doing and when we're going to be, if we're ever going to not have a show, or if we're going to actually stream a game, you can go to our Discord. That's where we make all announcements. Discord is on the channel. Or if you are listening to this show as a podcast, you should be able to find that in the podcast descriptions. Sometimes Apple is weird, but if not, you can go to facebook.com/GameHounds or to Twitch or to YouTube, either of those places, and it will have information on how to get onto our Discord. We would love to have you. That way you know what we're doing, when we're doing it, and how we're doing it. And also you can join us hopefully next week. Speaking of our podcast, if you want to listen to us as a podcast, we are on iTunes. If you do listen to us as GameHounds Podcast on iTunes, please leave us some feedback. Hit a like, subscribe for us. In fact, if you are listening anywhere right now, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. It does make a difference. And of course, don't forget that we are 100% Patreon funded. Patreon.com/GameHounds. If you would like to donate, $1 a month is all we ask to help offset some of the cost to make all of this happen. Nick, have a great week. Thanks for being on the show.
Always.
All right. We'll talk to you all next week. Have a great week, everyone. Be safe, be well.
Always.
And remember, as bad as you think it is, we had it way worse back then. Talk to you later. Bye. All right. So that's it. Have a great week, everyone. See you later. Bye.
Bye.
I almost made a big mistake right there.